Not with ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology actively invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you. The needle in the haystack.
Try ZipRecruiter now for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Warren Buffett's mentor, Benjamin Graham, said, "The essence of investment management is the management of risk, not returns." Hi, this is Joe Lopresti, president of Arlington Capital Management. I'm here to explain how we help manage our clients' exposure to risk. We're the creators of our proprietary proactive asset allocation strategy, known as PAS. It is designed to analyze important market trends and alert us to potential changes in the market. But that's only part of what I believe makes Arlington Capital Management unique. It's the care and personalized service we provide our clients that really defines us. We understand how important your financial goals are to you and your family, and we never take that responsibility lightly. It all starts by understanding the things that are most important to you. It's part of the Arlington Capital Management difference. To experience it for yourself, schedule your complimentary consultation by calling 855-471-5796. That's 855-471-5796, or visit arlington-capital.com.
We're all ready for sunshine, drinks on warm nights with friends, and getting in shape for the summer. Do it all at Riviera Country Club and Sports Center in Orland Park. A 100,000 square foot private facility with affordable fitness and social activities the entire family can enjoy. Keep your workouts fun with 64 aerobic, strength and conditioning, aquatic, and yoga classes, all included with your membership. Work on your jump shot on a full basketball court, your backhand on 2 indoor courts and outdoor clay courts. You can even take a ride on their outdoor water slide and enjoy a few laps in their indoor pools. For mental relaxation, Riviera Country Club and Sports Center offers a men's and women's spa, each with their own sauna, steam room, and whirlpool. Wrap up the day poolside with food and beverages from Gatto's Restaurant and Bar. Call Riviera Country Club and Sports Center now to join, and the first 50 callers get their first month free. Call 708-349-1100 to schedule a tour today. Again, that's 708-349-1100. Riviera Country Club and Sports Center, much more than a health club.
5:11. Let's get an update on the roads now in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. One would assume there's some problems left from the overnight heavy weather. Jim Talamonte.
Good morning, Mike. And we've got some slick spots here and there. No flooding closures right now, at least not of any major thoroughfares. No lane closures on any expressways or tollways, though. We just crash reported moments ago on the outbound Ryan at the Stevenson. No word yet on a lane blockage there, but careful there. Outbound on the ride farther south, road work at the 2 left lanes from 87th split, scheduled till 6 this morning. At Kennedy, express lanes have just opened on the inbound side. No delays on the Kennedy. Overnight work was limited due to the weather. No other road work issues at the moment throughout the area as far as the expressways go. There is still some work on the Tri-State Tollway this morning. Northbound at the Stevenson, the left lane is blocked. Farther north at the O'Hare Oasis, right lane closure. There's some southbound work in the Lake Forest, I should say northbound in both directions. A little work around the Lake Forest Oasis, but no delays. Traffic service, Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Victims of drunk and drug driving, their grief is unique, but you're not alone. MADD is here to help. Call their 24-hour victim helpline, 877-MADD-HELP, or visit madd.org, madd.org. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center with meteorologist Alex Rao.
Humid with intervals of clouds and sunshine today, high of 80. And tonight we're underneath a moonlit sky with humidity, low 68. Tomorrow will be humid with sunshine and patchy clouds and a high of 88. I'm Alexandra Rabb on AM 560. The Answer.
70 at O'Hare, 69 along the lakefront. Your next news update, 5:30, Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy. Starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig Bolanos. Heard Sunday mornings at 10.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, the judicial branch upheld the powers of the executive branch. SCOTUS yesterday upholding POTUS's Article 2 powers in the temporary travel ban case. I'll tell you what one of the key phrases was. I mean, this all boiled down to the issue of
religious, right?
Well, was there express anti-Muslim bias? The dissent, Sotomayor's fiery dissent, turned on the assertion that Trump's statements should essentially trump his constitutional authority, that his expression of anti-Muslim bias, in her opinion, precluded the temporary travel ban. But that didn't win the day in a 5-4 decision. Justice Roberts, writing for the majority, simply said that this is within the presidential purview when it comes to regulating immigration and naturalization, particularly against the backdrop of national security concerns, the inability to vet people coming into this country. But I'll tell you what, one of my favorite phrases. That's my favorite phrase because it's bigger than this case.
President Trump or?
No, from John Roberts.
Okay.
We express no view on the soundness of the policy. We express no view on the soundness of the policy. And the reason that's important is because they're interpreting the Constitution, the constitutional powers of the executive. We're not policymakers. We're judges who are supposed to interpret policies that are advanced by the legislative branch or the executive branch against the backdrop of the Constitution. Thank you. This is a process of law issue. So you can, hoop and holler about what Trump has said about the temporary travel ban and its various iterations in the first 100 days of his administration. But the Supreme Court got it right here, as we suggested they would when this started being litigated, because they just went back to the Constitution and strictly interpreted where power resides on this issue. And that's essentially what the holding was in the case.
Yeah, and basically, it solidifies President Trump's political instincts, and he was pleased.
The Supreme Court ruling was a tremendous victory for this country and for the Constitution.
And do you think it's a big win for President Trump?
Well, clearly it's a win for President Trump.
And I didn't think that it was, religiously, people were being biased against Muslims. They were just people from countries that want to destroy us. Some people in those countries do. They want to end, death to America. So I'm not losing any sleep over this ruling.
And the connection is we, with respect to, for example, Syrian refugees at the height of that crisis, we don't know how to separate, how to vet people coming in, particularly in the numbers they're attempting to come in. And so do you just essentially open up the borders and say whoever wants to come in, whenever they want to come in for whatever reason, you come in? Or do you say we have a process and there are national security concerns about not knowing who people are that are entering this country and what their intents are and being able to verify at least some of the personal information, and so we can't do that. And the other thing, too, because this is, it's more than idiosyncratic, it's misreporting. It is not a travel ban. It is a temporary travel ban for the purposes of establishing a vetting regime that we can rely upon.
And this is his third version of it. After the first one was rolled out, then he had a second one, and this is it.
I understand that so many of these opinions are, these judicial opinions these days are just op-eds, from Kennedy's whole majority opinion in Obergefell to Sotomayor's dissent in this case. But for Sotomayor to liken this case and the majority opinion to the Korematsu v. U.S. decision that upheld the detention of Japanese Americans during World War II, the Japanese internment camps that liberal icon FDR ordered, it's absurd. We're talking about temporarily not allowing people into this country from countries where there is that there is a real animus towards America. They're incubators of radical Islamic terror, and we can't properly vet them. Comparing that to interning Japanese Americans in this country, Japanese Americans in this country, is ridiculous, and it shows sort of kind of the intellectual vacuity of Sotomayor's dissent. It's basically she's just bigot baiting. That's what she's doing, and it's an analogy that just doesn't hold up and any sort of kind of logical scrutiny. One other decision that came down, which of course was overwhelmed by the temporary travel ban case, is this Becerra case, and we're going to talk to Mary Fiorito from Ethics and Public Policy Center and Aid for Women here in Chicago at the bottom of the 6 o'clock hour. But the Becerra case was a really important First Amendment case. It dealt with pregnancy centers, crisis pregnancy centers like Aid for Women here in Chicago, which I'm also affiliated with. The case concerned California's Reproductive Fact Act, which mandated that both licensed and unlicensed women's health clinics, so crisis pregnancy or pregnancy resource centers, that do not perform abortions must provide a pre-written notice to clients that informs them of abortion as an option. So this is, seen in the context of pro-life versus pro-choice and so forth, but it's really a First Amendment issue. It's a free speech issue. And so, again, in a 5-4 decision, the High Court held the state of California cannot compel pregnancy resource centers to advertise for the state's abortion services. It's a free speech and a right of conscience decision, and it's one of the more important ones in recent memory, and probably will be for some time. So it's just important to remark upon. And Mary Fiorito, who's an expert in the space, we'll talk about it more when we visit with her at the bottom of the 6.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up, a New York primary stunner. But first, here's your forecast. After that rain, we even had reports of a tornado in Manhattan, Illinois, and Will County. It's going to be humid today with sun and clouds, no rain. That's good. A high of 81 degrees. And tomorrow, humid and warmer with sunshine and, patchy clouds, a high of 88. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Any standing water out there, Jim Telemonte?
Well, not blocking any lanes. Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Right now, there's no flooding on any of the major expressways and tollways. No flood-related closures of major thoroughfares. That being said, you'll hit some puddles here and there, so take it easy if you do see some high water. The Edens looks good. Kennedy as well. Express lanes have opened inbound. No delays to report yet on the Eisenhower. Bound Stevenson, got a 2-minute delay from Harlem to Central. Bound Ryan, a 2-minute delay, 18th to downtown. Outbound, there's a crash report on the Ryan at the Stevenson. Got Bishop Ford, a little congested now. Cottage Grove Verge. Adams Tollway westbound at the Elgin Toll Plaza. There's a crash. 2 right lanes are blocked. It's westbound I-90. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Pain drugs are addictive and have side effects. Get off drugs and get rid of the pain. You don't need to live with chronic pain. Let's repeat that. You do not have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst from an accident or pain that just develops. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the most respected and successful pain doctors in the world. Dr. Candido will work to find the source of your chronic pain and fix it. He teaches pain management around the world and has been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors many times. So you get it. He is the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido, the Chicago anesthesia and pain specialist, will help you get off the pain medication and all of its side effects. You can get your life back. Drugs mask the pain, find the source, and fix it. Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain. You can be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info at mypainchicago.com.
That's Dot. She's here to greet me after a long day. She's the only one who wants to be near me when I'm sick. She's my best friend. Thanks to folks like South Suburban Humane Society, Dot went from living on the street to a dog that wears clothes. Yep, I'm that guy. So how did I get so lucky? Before I met Dot, I spent time at South Suburban. Giving to a nonprofit isn't always about giving money or donating food and supplies. although that's appreciated too. South Suburban Pets just want your love. We encourage you to come by the facility, take a dog for a walk, play with Dot's cat friends, or even foster a pet to keep your flexibility. If you're interested in how you can volunteer or donate, visit them at southsuburbanhumane.org. That's right, Dot. South Suburban is a 501c3, which means all donations are tax deductible for individuals and businesses. Text DONATE to 708-866-0065 or visit southsuburbanhumane.org. South Suburban Humane Society, creating a better world for pets and their people.
Chicagoland, Dan Proft here, and I'm here with my guy Ryan Kelly at thehomeloanexpert.com. He's one of us. He gets it. That's one of the things I think that separates you from others in a very competitive marketplace, Ryan. Why is thehomeloanexpert.com the place to go to buy or sell your home?
I'll give you a couple of things that really separate the Home Loan Expert office from all these other mortgage lenders. First of all, it's the way we take care of our clients. 15 years ago, when I was knocking on doors, trying to start up the Home Loan Expert and get in the business, I sat down at people's kitchen tables and I talked to them. And one of the biggest frustrations people had was they didn't trust mortgage lenders. They felt like they were shoved into loans. Well, we don't do that. We offer customer service that nobody else can match. And of course, lower rates on better loans. And we do all types of loans. We do the VA loans. Heck, we close VA loans in 14 days. Nobody else does that. We do jumbo loans, cash out loans, FHA loans. We can do a loan for about anybody. Heck, we have a bank statement mortgage. We don't even need your tax returns or pay stubs. Thinking about refinancing, now's a great time. 5 minutes can save you $500 a month. Apply online today at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC.
AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. We're talking about those couple of important Supreme Court decisions yesterday, including on the temporary travel ban. And a related story, federal judge on Tuesday ruled that U.S. immigration agents could no longer separate immigrant parents and children caught crossing the border from Mexico illegally, must work to reunite those families that have been split up in custody, and they're on a 30-day clock. So.
Yeah, and if they're 5 years and younger, they have 2 weeks to put them together, back together.
These federal judges. This is a good example of what I'm talking about, which is why I referenced in Roberts' decision we make no comment on the soundness of the policy. This federal judge just wrote an op-ed. This is her opinion about what should be done. There's no basis in law for this.
Oh,
no
so
basis
it's
in law.
Fake news from CNN?
Well, it's not fake news. I'm talking about it's a fake opinion.
Yeah.
It's an op-ed. And this is the same thing we went through with differing federal judicial interpretations of Trump's temporary travel bans, thus the high court taking it up and offering the definitive word on the topic. Vince and Waukegan, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, Dan. Hi, Amy.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, when all of your local 8th grade spelling bee champions have a better handle on reading the Constitution and understanding it than 4 currently Supreme Court justices, you've got a problem. I mean, these people act like children. They've went to school for how many years to learn law, and they still can't act like professionals and, in taking care of their duties as a judge? That's a problem.
Yeah, well, thanks for the call, Vince. Just going back to this U.S. District Judge Dana Sabro out of San Diego. She writes, the practice of separating these families was implemented without any effective system or procedure for tracking the children after they were separated from their parents, enabling communication between the parents and their children after separation, reuniting the parents and children after the parents are returned to immigration custody following completion of their criminal sentence. This is a startling reality. Even if I concede all that's true, which I don't necessarily, I'm sorry, Your Honor, are you a member of Congress? Are you the President of the United States? You don't like the implementation tools that are provided for border security? Well, that's not your purview. I don't hear an argument rooted in law. I am reading an op-ed masquerading as a judicial opinion, and this is sort of the problem, which is why Roberts' opinion, and I know, of course, we have problems with Roberts because of his ridiculous opinion in the Obamacare cases. But Roberts' opinion about not making any decision on the soundness of the policy, that is not our realm. Judicial restraint, strict constructionism, refreshing.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Democrats of the world unite around a 28-year-old in New York.
Who still has to pay her student loans off. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
70 outside. Chicagoland feeling the effects of severe weather, thunderstorms, damaging winds causing flooding in the area last night. Cleanup underway after a tornado hit the ground in southwest suburban Manhattan, where buildings were damaged, trees and power poles knocked down. Federal judge in San Diego ordering the government to reunite immigrant families separated at the Mexican border. Tuesday's ruling requires the government to reunite children under age 5 with their parents in about 2 weeks. Protesters continue to hound Republican leaders over the immigrant family separation policy. A group confronted Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell Tuesday, leaving an event at Georgetown University with his wife. Department of Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao, who is having none of the protest.
Why are you separating? Why are you separating families? Why did you leave my husband alone?
Chao and McConnell. If you did not hear, that was Elaine Chao saying, "Leave my husband alone." Chao and McConnell were quickly removed from that protest by security. Former presidential nominee and a former NAACP president, two winners in yesterday's state primaries. Mitt Romney easily won Utah's Republican primary to succeed outgoing Senator Orrin Hatch in Maryland. Former NAACP President Ben Jealous won the Democratic nomination for governor. Supreme Court upholding President Trump's travel ban.
Today's Supreme Court ruling, a tremendous success, a tremendous victory for the American people and for our Constitution.
In a 5-4 ruling, the justices upheld the ban on travelers from a few, mostly non-Muslim nations. Rama Issa is executive director of the Arab American Association.
At the end of the day, there shouldn't be a litmus test based on religion, country of origin, or ethnic background to allow folks to come into this country. That is inhumane, it's immoral, and it does not align with American values. Meantime,
two senators, a Democrat and Republican, are leaning on President Trump not to lift sanctions this morning on Chinese telecom giant ZTE. Democrat Mark Warner of Virginia teaming with Republican Marco Rubio of Florida to make their case in a letter sent to the president yesterday. Closing arguments are expected today in the wrongful death lawsuit brought by the family of Quintonio LeGrier. Trial continues today for a former lawyer accused of the murder of his wife in 1973. Donnie Rudd is charged with beating his wife to death before staging her death to look like a car accident in Barrington. Union and Confederate soldiers will take to the battlefield this weekend. Lake County Forest Preserve says the largest Civil War reenactment in northern Illinois takes place Saturday and Sunday. Lakewood Forest Preserve in Wakanda. The Civil War Days event has been going on annually for about 25 years. It draws about 600 reenactors from 7 states and about 5,000 visitors who come to watch the show. John Lester win number 10. Cubs winners over the Dodgers at Chavez Ravine, 9-4. White Sox double up the Twins 8-4 in the news, a service of Unbound.org. A more peaceful, healthy world happens one person at a time. Around the globe, there are kids who dream of helping their families, who hope for the future, and who have a name. Know the person you're helping directly at Unbound.org. 5:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher. The Mike Gallagher Show.
This is the headline at CNN.com. Donald Trump is as popular as he's ever been, parentheses, in one poll. That's the CNN News headline. I've never seen a more biased headline. You know what that one poll is they're referring to? Oh, I don't know, a little organization called Gallup. Oh, my gosh. We are in Crazyville.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This Friday and Saturday, get up to $300 in prepaid MasterCards on select tire and wheel packages purchased with Discount Tire Credit. Discount Tire, where America saves on tires.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's. So thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover. All for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter 4343 at checkout. That's harrys.com, code 4343. Enjoy.
5:34. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike Adams. Tollway westbound I-90 at the Elgin Toll Plaza. There's a crash. 2 right lanes are blocked there. Eden's wet, but otherwise okay. Same goes to Kennedy. Eisenhower inbound. We're now seeing delays from 25th Avenue to Des Plaines Avenue. 31 minutes, 390 to downtown. Up on 30, heavy around Des Plaines as well. Stevenson, 36 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 21 minutes, 95th to downtown. Outbound 17. Got a crash before 18th in the left lane. Inbound Bishop Ford, at a 5-minute delay, starting at 111th. Traffic service of the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America Take Steps Walk program, dedicated to raising funds and awareness to combat Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. Find a walk site near you. Visit www.cctakesteps.org. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Humid, clouds and sunshine. High near 81, patchy clouds and humid, low 68 overnight. 70 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 6. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, the show for business and jobs powered by Tandem HR. Heard Sunday evenings at 6.
Joe Walsh here. Boy, I'll tell you what, a big old reminder this week with these Supreme Court rulings that elections really matter. We'll talk about that when Freedom returns at 5.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And so, it was Election Day in a number of states yesterday. I'm sorry to inform you that we're going to have to say goodbye to Chelsea Manning.
Oh,
don't call her Bradley.
I hope she doesn't do anything stupid.
You mean like run for Senate? Yeah,
Well-
she did, and it didn't work out for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she gone.
Did she get trounced?
Yeah. Your
My guy.
boy toy, Mitt Romney.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about Michael Grimm.
Okay.
He lost. He used to have that congressional seat, then was,
Convicted of a
convicted of a felony. Well, tax evasion, allegedly. Well,
not allegedly.
Yeah,
he was convicted.
Was convicted.
And it is a felony. And tax
Okay, fine.
and shrugging her shoulders and just saying
Fine.
it's tax evasion doesn't really make it
What
go
what is
away.
it? Convicted felon. He's a Marine. He served our country. He's a nice man. He made a mistake, paid for it, and he wanted his congressional seat back, but he didn't get it.
He made a few mistakes. Yeah, he got hammered too.
But to the true love of my life, soon-to-be Senator Mitt Romney. Dana Bash asked which Mitt Romney is going to come to Washington, which made him sound psychopathic. Like, which one are you going to be? So just listen.
The one from
When
Utah.
you go to the Senate, which Mitt Romney is going to go? The one that called Donald Trump a fake and a phony, or the one who talked to him about being Secretary of State?
I believe I've made it pretty clear that I'll stand with President Trump if the policies he's proposing are good for the state of Utah, for other states, for the nation. On the other hand, if he were to say something that is divisive and significant, something which were racist or anti-woman or anti-immigrant, then I feel a moral responsibility to speak out. So I'll speak my mind.
And President Trump tweeted, "Big and conclusive win by Mitt Romney. Congratulations. I look forward to working together. There's so
Yeah.
much good to do. A great and loving family will be coming to D.C."
We'll see how long the honeymoon lasts. But all right, so Romney's in. But of course, the shocker was last night. This is a 14-term incumbent,
Yeah.
Joe Crowley from New York, who was not challenged in a primary for
What, 10
more than a
yeah.
decade. He was sort of kind of inside the bubble, sort of locked in to potentially be a Pelosi replacement.
Right.
If Democrats got the House, well, he's not going to be a Pelosi replacement because he lost a primary to this woman, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Love the hyphenated name.
Sure, who doesn't? Member of Democrat Socialists of America.
Yeah, backed by Bernie Sanders. She's 28 years old. She still has yet to pay off her student loans. Nobody even saw this coming. The New York Times didn't even mention her before her big shocking win yesterday. And even she was shocked.
It's surreal. I did not see these numbers until I walked in right now. I saw these numbers on television with you, so I'm still processing a lot of this.
I know. Did you that?
Sing-song. I love the sing-songy voice. That should hold up well on the House floor. Yeah, so Joe Crowley, 10-term incumbent, hadn't been challenged in a primary in 14 years. And he's gone. And by the way, that race wasn't close.
No, she killed him. I mean, she won handily. And President
She was outspent 18-1.
Yeah, 18-1. President Trump tweeting, wow, big Trump hater Congressman Joe Crowley, who many expected was going to take Nancy Pelosi's place, just lost, in capitals, his primary election. In other words, he's out. That is a big one that nobody saw happening. Perhaps he should have been nicer and more respectful to his president.
Well, with all due respect to the president, it's actually the opposite. If Joe Crowley wanted to keep his seat, he needed to become formally a socialist. He tried to brandish his left-wing credentials as best he could, but this sort of grassroots insurgency, even though the turnout was particularly low, not terribly surprising in a primary. But it calls to mind Tom Foley being deposed, former House Speaker. Calls to mind more recently Eric Cantor being deposed in a primary by Dave Bratt. But the real issue is Democrat Socialists of America member of Congress. I mean, it's one thing when you got Bernie Sanders up there in maple syrup country.
Yeah.
But
now it's coming to New York.
Well, and also the demographic, both racially as well as with respect to age, just like we have here. We've got that alderman. Who's a self-avowed social. No, he's older than that, but he's self-avowed socialist. The whole move, hard left, and increasingly violent on the left. Socialists employing the public harassment or worse tactics. This is really interesting. I mean, understand that Miss Ocasio-Cortez's campaign was frankly more strident than Bernie Sanders' campaign. She, like so many kind of MoveOn.org types, are focused on abolishing ICE.
Yeah,
abolishing Customs and Border Enforcement.
That's her number one goal.
Working class Americans want a clear champion, and there is nothing radical about moral clarity in 2018.
Yeah, and she said that is going to be her first mission, is to try and abolish ICE. Congressman Joe Crowley took it in stride. He played a song and then delivered a concession speech.
We have a great opportunity this fall in November to win back the House. And although I may have been sacrificed a little early in that cause, I'm committed to that end.
So he's going to support the woman who just beat him.
Carlos Ramirez Rosa is the Chicago alderman, also hyphenated name.
What is with this hyphens?
I don't know.
I
guess
like
that's
hyphens.
socialists.
Just keep
like
your name. If you don't want to take your husband's name, keep your own.
The socialists like the hyphenate.
Okay, I guess you couldn't be Hispanic enough. Ocasio-Cortez. Okay.
Mike in Bolingbrook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah. Hey, Dan, I got a question for you. First of all, the quick question, how can Romney jump states? Where is he from?
He's
where's
from
his home
Michigan,
state?
Massachusetts, and Utah.
It's the three
seriously,
states.
how do they just push him to another state?
I think.
What the hell? If I lived in Utah, I'd say who?
Oh, no. People love him in Utah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And then this
And
Cortez
Massachusetts.
girl.
They couldn't be more alike.
Her
Massachusetts
diploma-
and Utah.
Kind of the same, just a little different.
Yeah, I'm
this,
sorry.
This
Go ahead.
Cortez girl, Amy, says that she has student loans. What's her degree in?
I'm
Her
finding
freaking
out right
diploma's still wet. What? Really? Come on.
Yeah, everyone's writing articles. Who is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez?
Yeah. Thanks
A
for
token. She's just a Democratic
Well,
token.
she's a young socialist
Exactly.
activist,
Thanks for the call, Mike.
a woman of color, NPR writes, and political newcomer. Okay.
Well, that's good enough for me. She's a woman. We're going to give you her gender, her race, and her ethnic heritage. That's what we know about her. Okay.
She's a third-generation New Yorker who is a Boricua. She's Puerto Rican.
Yeah, she's a socialist. That's the top line. Tom in Deer Park.
Hey, good morning. I wanted to ask you a question. You touched it somewhat while I was on hold. But I want to ask you if you think this is a one-off. It seems to me like your opinion is it's not, that the Democrat Party is moving left and hard left, if you even want to call it left, into the socialist realm. And I'm juxtaposing that with how the Republican Party now is the party of Trump, and based, in my opinion, on economic illiteracy with the tariffs and kind of a nod to demagoguery and authoritarianism with Donald Trump. And to me, I see the two parties going in wildly opposite directions with no middle. And I just would value your opinion on that, Dan, or Amy, too, yours.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Tom. I mean,
it is a blow against the left establishment. I mean, she is a card-carrying member of the Democratic Socialists of America. You've got her. She's determined to get rid of ICE. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
after she pays off her student loans.
All the energy on the left is with the socialists, and frankly, as I've said before, to paraphrase Lenin, a 21st century socialist is just a Democrat in a hurry. I mean, the Democrat Party is a socialist party now. And what you see, Joe Crowley, what happened to Joe Crowley is what happened with Hillary Clinton to Bernie Sanders. He just wasn't able to kind of inch her out because all the infrastructure that was allied against him. Joe Crowley outspends her 18-1, and he tries to pantomime that I'm down with the struggle, I'm part of the resistance, I'm a leftist ideologue too. And people just weren't buying it, just like they weren't buying it for Hillary, which gave rise to Bernie, who nearly toppled her, despite all of those institutional advantages that she had. So that's where all the energy is. That's what the Democrat Party is. It's a socialist party. Ross Douthat has said it, too, writing in the New York Times. The country may be moving left, but the Democrats are moving left much faster. Tony on the south side.
Hey, good morning, Dan and Amy. Because I'm from the People's Republic of Chicago, I don't know much about New York politics, but I'm assuming it's kind of like Chicago, where this girl wins, okay, this Valley girl wins here, and she gets to challenge a Republican if there's the three that are left in New York. What are your chances of a Republican or somebody else beating her in the general election to take that, seat? Because this is not good. I mean, really, if this is the direction our country's going into, I'm afraid. I don't know, man. And maybe there's like 3 or 4 Democrats left that are old holdout Democrats from back in the 1960s and 70s that might vote against her as well. I don't know. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, thanks for the call, Tony. It was a tubular call. What's that?
I said there was a lot going on.
Well, he asked what chances Republican have here.
There's no.
You have to say it like.
There's no chance.
You have to say it like Ocasio-Cortez.
How do you say?
There's like no chance.
Oh my God! It's She another reason they believe that Joe Crowley, the incumbent, lost is that he had scheduling conflicts that wouldn't allow him to attend either of the debates, leaving voters wondering, what are we, chopped liver?
Yeah.
That he was a little too comfortable in his seat and his position.
Candace and DuPage.
Hi. I don't know. I'm a little upset by that last caller with the whole tariff thing, because there's other things that matter besides tariffs. A whole lot of things have happened under Trump that have been very good and have been protecting our republic, unlike past GOP. But he reminds me of what you said, Dan, about that article you read about Wall Street Journal from Bobby Jindal about the Chamber of Commerce GOP, who literally have no morality, don't appreciate America as free, could care less about any of that. They're only worried about their pocketbook, and I think that's why the left has gotten so out of control in this country. They've never explained who the left are. They don't care about education in the schools whatsoever. They do not educate our students like they do in Russia. Like every kid in Russia has to read that Gulag book. It's just like, and it's not an easy read. It's like, I don't know, 1,000-page book or something. I mean, they have better education there than they have here. You know what I mean?
Gulag Archipelago. Yes.
Yes. Sorry.
Yes.
And
Thanks for the call, Candace.
Just so you know, Ocasio-Cortez is going to face a Republican challenger, Anthony Pappas. He's a St. John's University professor who teaches economics and finance.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, he ran unopposed.
Yeah.
His party's primary.
Former St. John's basketball standout and college player of the year, Walter Berry, would not win that district as a Republican. So
he seems like a nice man.
Yeah, he's nice. Yeah.
He paid off a student loan.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Smokers, are you one of the millions of people who want to quit smoking because of health problems, expenses, or maybe you're just tired of the smell of smoke on your clothes and breath? Transform your life now with new Sig-Free Smartband. Sig-Free is an automated wearable smartband for smokers who want an all-natural, healthy, and affordable non-nicotine, non-invasive solution to quitting. Sig-Free is a technology-driven solution, freeing you from the dangers of smoking without doctor's exams or the side effects of drugs and nicotine replacement products. Just wear Sig-Free, answer your phone, and listen to your self-help messages. Your friends and family will love you for it, and they'll smell the difference. Become Sig-Free, and you can tell everyone, I morphed from a smoker to a healthier non-smoker.
For more information, go to imorphed.com. That's imorphed.com. imorphed.com. imorphed.com.
Do you want your basement to be dry most of the time? If so, Permaseal is not the company for you. All too often, Permaseal hears stories of homeowners who say their basement only leaks when it rains. Well, and I'm sure that happened to a lot of people last night. Well, you don't expect your living room or bedroom to get wet, do you? Then why settle and continue to live with a wet basement? The Permaseal team believes your basement should be dry no matter how hard it rains. That's right. You can have a permanently dry basement. Just give them a call at 800-421-SEAL. They offer a free estimate, no haggle pricing, and a price assurance guarantee, so you can rest assured that you're getting the best value in the industry. Roy Spencer started Permaseal back in 1979, and it's still a local Chicagoland family business doing the right thing and standing behind their work. They also have the most positive reviews of any waterproofing company on the Better Business Bureau website. Your basement is already dry most of the time, but if you want your basement dry all of the time, call Permaseal now, 800-421-SEAL. That's 800-421-7325, or check out permaseal.net.
Tired of working dead-end jobs, getting laid off time and time again? Consider the growing healthcare field. Change your future now. TTI Medical Training can help you. TTI Medical Training offers in-demand healthcare training programs so you can enter the growing healthcare field. They offer courses to become a certified nursing assistant, medical assistant, patient care technician, dialysis technician, and other rewarding healthcare careers. All TTI Medical Training programs lead to certification, and that's the key to getting a job in the healthcare field. Healthcare employers desperately need certified healthcare techs. TTI offers short-term programs that you can complete in less than 9 months. You can start your healthcare career right after graduation. They have 2 locations in Chicagoland and flexible class schedules to fit any schedule. Call now, 773-774-2222, and begin healthcare training today. Or learn more online at ttimedicalschool.com. That's 773-774-2222, or online at ttimedicalschool.com.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. I don't think Plato had former CIA Director General Michael Hayden's tweet comparing Trump immigration policy to the Birkenau death camp at Auschwitz in mind when he conceived of the Noble Lie. Nor would Plato likely place under the Noble Lie header the D.C. Press Corps' magical storytelling about a 2-year-old Time magazine cover girl who was separated from her father in Honduras by her mother, but never separated from her mother by Border Patrol or anyone named Trump, not even Peter Fonda's nemesis Barron. The lies told by elites these days are intended to foment social unrest, not cohesion. The ignoble truth is that today's elites cover their tracks by feeding the public supersized whoppers to stunt their appetites for edifying information and dull their attention spans. Never mind that the fix was in at FBI. See Trump's criticism of Comey as a veiled predicate to martial law. Never mind that family separation was not new policy at the border and that only the enforcement of it was new. Instead, understand this as an existential battle not for border security, but against bigotry. In other news, Paul Manafort has pled guilty to a violent crime for which he was not charged. ABC ABC News reports.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
It's the Ace Red, White, and Blue sale. The perfect time to buy a grill from our exclusive lineup of premium brands, like the latest from Weber, Traeger, and more. And right now, get free assembly and free delivery on our top grill brands, $3.99 and up. Get the right grill delivered right to your house. Hurry in before it ends. The Red, White, and Blue sale only at Ace. Offer valid for Ace Rewards members only through July 9th. See participating store for scheduling and details.
On the streets of Miami, speed is the law. So when a corn dog goes after the wrong girl,
Oh, heartburn!
one man will bring her Tums Ultra Strength.
I'm on my way.
Don't get wrecked by heartburn. Nothing works faster than Tums.
Your mustard's fast, but my Tums are faster.
And with Tums on-the-go rolls, it's never been easier to leave heartburn behind.
You did it.
Yeah. You gonna finish that corn dog?
Tums Ultra Strength, available in a store near you.
I'm Devin. I deliver sandwiches for Jimmy John's.
Freaktown! Population Devin.
We'll deliver one sandwich.
Minimum freak.
Or hundreds of sandwiches.
Infinity freak.
However many you want.
You're mayor of Freaktown, Devin. Freaky fresh, freaky fast, Jimmy John's, freak yeah.
I'm Tammy. I get to Jimmy John's early every day.
Freak-a-doodle-doo.
To bake bread fresh.
Freak-a-doodle-do.
And we keep on baking throughout the day, so it's always fresh for our customers. That's all.
Toodaloo, freak-a-doo. Freaky fresh, freaky fast, Jimmy John's, freak yeah.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. But not with ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology actively invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you, the needle in the haystack.
Try ZipRecruiter now for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
When you conceal carry, you want to carry responsibly, safely, and with confidence. You want UltiClip. UltiClip was designed out of necessity. Traditional holster clips fail in performance, losing their retention or breaking. With UltiClip, you get the ultimate carry solution that replaces standard holster clips and features a smaller visible footprint than other clips. The patented design gains over 10 times the holster retention for better security and maximum concealment. Plus, UltiClip features the first multi-purpose tool and clip combo. And UltiClip isn't just for holsters. It can also be used for knife sheaths. Police departments are using UltiClip to secure their body cameras, badges, and other equipment. Stop wasting money searching for the right holster when you can upgrade and improve your current holster with UltiClip. Proudly made in the USA from Spring Steel and named Gear of the Year by Gun Digest. Go to ulticlip.com to shop and learn more about ways you can use the best retention clip available. That's ULTIClip.com. Ulticlip.com for ultimate retention and concealment.
5:57. Let's get an update on the morning ride to work in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike Kennedy. Inbound is heavy 190 to Foster. 24 minutes O'Hare to downtown, outbound 22. Eden still looks good. On Eisenhower, slow going Wolf to Des Plaines Avenue in California to Burns Circle. 39 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 36. Crash reported at Independence, but it's slow Austin to 9th. Stevenson, 46 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 35. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Station 4, 27 minutes, 80-94 to the Merge. Traffic service of Compassion International. Can't change the whole world. You can be part of the change in the world for a child living in poverty, becoming a Compassion International child sponsor. Find.board, compassion.com/radio. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues after a full update from Fox News and your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center with our meteorologist, Alex Rabb.
For today, we're humid with clouds and sun and a high of 80. A moonlit sky for tonight while we're humid and a low of 68. Tomorrow's humid with sunshine and patchy clouds and a high of 88. I'm Alexandra Rabb on AM 560, The Answer.
70 at O'Hare. The news is a service of Compassion International. Sponsoring a child with compassion is the most effective way to end extreme child poverty. Release a child from poverty when you become a Compassion sponsor. Choose your child now at compassion.com/radio and do your part to release a child from poverty today. At 5:59, Here are the stories we're following on AM 560. The Answer. Chicagoland feeling the effects of severe weather, especially after a tornado hit southwest suburban Manhattan. Closing arguments are expected today in the wrongful death lawsuit brought by the family of Quintonio LeGrier. A suspect in a double murder in Bloomington is jailed in Chicago. Chicago aldermen want to rename Congress Parkway after an African-American journalist and anti-lynching activist, Ida B. Wells. John Lester earns win number 10 as the Cubs beat the Dodgers 9-4. White Sox double up the Twins 8-4 on the south side. Humid day ahead with clouds and sunshine in your forecast, a high of 81. Another humid night ahead overnight, low 68. And then we head into the broiler with a high of 88 tomorrow. WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
The Trump administration is given 30 days to reunite families separated at the border. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. A federal judge in California issued that order amid the controversy over separating kids from parents prosecuted for entering the U.S. illegally, a policy now on hold. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, the ruling gives the Trump administration 30 days to reunite children separated from their parents at the southern border, 14 days if the child is younger than 5. U.S. District Judge Dana Sabra also ruled that immigration officials must stop separating families unless a parent is deemed unfit. President Trump issued an executive order last week ending family separation, but the administration says its zero-tolerance policy remains in effect. Dave.
Rachel, the House is expected to vote today on another immigration reform plan.
I believe if we move this bill over the Senate, would you see what's happening on the border? It will bring pressure upon them.
But Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy may not have the votes. Some Republicans oppose the bill, and there is no Democrat support. One of the top Democrats in the House has been voted out. Congressman Joe Crowley was upset in his primary, losing to a socialist Bernie Sanders backer.
I cannot believe these numbers right now, but I do know that every single person here has worked their butt off to change the future of the Bronx and Queens. That's what I know.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez on New York 1. She's just 28, and if she wins in a heavily Democratic New York City district in November, she'd be the youngest woman elected to Congress. President Trump tweeted, "Nobody saw that coming. Maybe Crowley should have been nicer to his president." A big Trump supporter won his primary in South Carolina, Governor Henry McMaster.
Our team, ladies and gentlemen, right now extends from the White House to the State House to your house.
McMaster beat his Republican challenger in a runoff. Mitt Romney also won his GOP primary race in Utah, trying to win a U.S. Senate seat. Fox News, fair and balanced.
On AM 560, The Answer. Your opinion counts. And we want to know how you feel about the news stories we're talking about each and every day. Make sure to vote in the M13 Graphics Opinion Express poll at 560theanswer.com. Listen for today's poll question at 10:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and 3:30 p.m. and hear the results each evening at 5:30. It's the M13 Graphics Opinion Express poll on 560theanswer.com.
When posting on most job sites, you get candidates.
I'm the sales director.
I'm the sales
director you're looking for.
But when you post on Indeed.com, you get the candidates just right for you.
I'm a sales director with an MBA, over 10 years experience, who's also fluent in Japanese.
With Indeed, you can add screener questions for a less time-consuming route to your short list of qualified candidates.
Arigato.
Hiring's better when you've got your short list. Save time on hiring when you post a job on Indeed. Get started today at Indeed.com/hire.
You don't remember days, you remember moments. But when the old tapes and photos that hold your cherished memories degrade, or worse, you lose them, they're gone forever. Hi, I'm Nick Mako.
And I'm Adam Baselogger. We started Legacy Box to help you preserve those irreplaceable moments.
Load your Legacy Box with your old tapes, film, pictures, and audio, and send them in. You'll get them back on DVD or a convenient thumb drive.
Visit legacybox.com/USA. And for a limited time, you'll get 40% off your order. legacybox.com/USA.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule. Thousands of doctors, health specialists, and professionals recommend Balance of Nature as a way of improving their health. Listen to a few unsolicited success stories from doctors that not only recommend it, but use Balance of Nature as well.
I look at Balance of Nature and I look what it's doing for me as I've started taking it, and for the patients that I have that are taking it, it's been phenomenal watching the changes that have happened and how much healthier and how much more energy that they have. I haven't heard any negative feedback from any of my patients who have been taking the product. The thing that amazes me with it is that it's so simple.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. It's just the beginning. It is just the beginning. The excusing Sarah Sanders from the Red Hen, the chasing Christian Nielsen out of a Mexican restaurant, the chasing Pam Bondi out of a theater, the refusal to take a picture with Paul Ryan's kids, the Maxine Waters call for confrontation wherever you see a Trump official. This is just the beginning. Hamilton Nolan, writing for an outlet called splinternews.com. Do you think that being asked to leave a restaurant or having your meal interrupted or being called by the public is bad? My fascism-enabling friends, this is only the beginning. And he goes on to list his bill of particulars against all things establishment and more specifically Trump. This is all going to get more extreme, and it should. We're living in extreme times. The harm that is being done to all of us by the people in the American government is extreme. To imagine that Mexican immigrants should happily cook for and serve meals to people who enable a man who is determined to demonize and persecute them as subhuman criminals is far more outrageous than the idea that those enablers should not be served in restaurants. I do not believe that Trump administration officials should be able to live their lives in peace and affluence while they inflict serious harm on large portions of the American population. And here we go. The U.S. had thousands of domestic bombings per year in the early 70s. This is what happens when citizens decide en masse that their political system is corrupt, racist, and unresponsive. The people out of power have only just begun to flex their dissatisfaction. Stop working for this man. Stop enabling this man. Stop assisting him. Start fighting him. The people who are responsible for what is happening are not going to get out of this with their happy, wealthy, respectable lives unscathed. Or apparently their body parts intact, according to what he's intimating. We're going to return to the weathermen. Fire up Bernadine Dorn and Bill Ayers.
Oh yeah,
get them.
LAN, let's go.
Get them back in action. The
bomb the merchandise mart again. Are we?
Yeah. The weathermen going to get the band back together. Is the left 312-642-5600 turnkey.pro answer line 64636DA turnkey.pro text line. 60s radicals taken to murdering police officers and whatnot before they get to, of course, tenured positions at Illinois universities. We're going to return to those times. This is just the beginning, so writes Mr. Hamilton Nolan as a representative of some of the opinion that's on the street, some of the opinion that, frankly, elected that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez yesterday in New York.
Unbelievable. And it's so bad. Sarah Sanders, being recently kicked out of that restaurant, and a Hollywood person threatened her children. She has 3 kids. Now she's going to be receiving Secret Service protection.
First press secretary in history.
In history of our country.
Paul Ryan addressed Maxine Waters and her calls for confrontation yesterday.
There's no place for this. She obviously should apologize. When we in this democracy are suggesting that because we disagree with people on political views, on policy views, on philosophical views, that we should resort to violence and harassment and intimidation, that's dangerous for our society. It's dangerous for our democracy. She should apologize, and there's just no place for that in our public discourse.
Well, it continues. Yesterday, after an event at Georgetown, Mitch McConnell and his wife, Elaine Chao, Secretary of Labor, were confronted, and Elaine Chao, to her credit, she wasn't having any of it.
I love her.
Why did you leave my husband alone? Why did you leave my husband He's not. I'm not trying to He's separating forces. No. How does he sleep at night? How does he sleep at night? How does he sleep at night?
She's like going back up, and she's a cabinet member. She's a secretary of transportation too. So when they said
transportation,
harass,
she was labor under Bush.
Right, but I mean, she's one of the people that Maxine Waters said go harass, get his cabinet members. That there's a cabinet member, but they were harassing her husband. Probably didn't realize she was a cabinet member too. And God bless her. I mean, she had her finger in their face, and she didn't need her security detail. Oh no, Mama's taking care of this problem herself.
No,
I loved it.
those bedwetting pseudo men that were screeching at her.
Little backpacks on.
They needed the security detail because if the security detail hadn't been there, she would have kicked the snot out of them.
You're right.
She was starting to take off her jewelry. Basically, you want a piece of this? You want to try this?
Yeah,
you want to try me?
You want to go? You leave my husband alone. And then she's like pushing them back, and one's got a New York Yankees hat on backwards, of course. Ugh. Another guy's there with a man bun. I mean, seriously.
Mark Penn, former Hillary Clinton campaign advisor, her first run for president back in 2008, he writing in The Hill about the redhead incident, why it troubles us so much as Americans. Increasingly, we're divided into factions, and whether it's through through news channels or Twitter feeds, the ability to whip up crowds quickly and with slanted information has never been easier or more dangerous. Forget about Russians dividing us. We have to worry about Americans doing the job of tearing the nation apart. And he writes about the Red Hen restaurant, even though, he disagrees with the Trump immigration policy and so forth, which also then he disagrees with the Obama administration policy too.
Right.
But the incident at Red Hen restaurant is unsettling because it goes to the core of how we treat those with whom we disagree in this republic. To be shamed with your family in the middle of a meal because of your service to the country and for your political views means that there is no activity safe for those who work for or, by extension, who voted for or supported the opposing party. The Red Hen incident crossed the line from just words into actions when Sarah Sanders was ejected. There's no safe space as much as the left demands them. Or certainly they want no safe space or private space or shame-free space, do the shame mobsters. With respect to Trump and anybody who's associated with Trump, even simply by their vote. Jeff Sessions yesterday in L.A., so that was in D.C. with McConnell and Chow.
I seriously cannot stop watching this.
Okay. Jeff Sessions yesterday in L.A. for a talk on immigration. He was greeted with hundreds of protesters outside the hotel in which he gave a speech in downtown L.A. The rhetoric we hear from the other side on the issue, as on many others, has become radicalized, said Sessions. We hear views on television today that are the lunatic fringe, frankly. And now they're elected members of Congress in New York.
Video, by the way, has been viewed more than 1 million times.
And you're going to double
and
that.
I'm going to double it in the next 3 hours.
Rick on the Ike, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, good morning, Dan and Amy. Listen, I believe that this goes all the way back to Bill Ayers. They didn't convict him in the 60s for his crimes, and I believe he's been laying dormant all these years until he got his claws on Obama and more or less thrust him into political power. And Obama set the stage for these guys to operate, and now they're coming back just like they did in the 60s.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Rick. He hasn't been laying low. He was a tenured professor at UIC. He's now enjoying a Illinois taxpayer finance pension. Bernadine Dorn, not laying low. She was head of the Family Law Center for Northwestern University Law School. That's what we do in Illinois. We deal with domestic terrorists by
rewarding them,
providing them with
positions.
academic sinecures. Ken and Lombard.
Yes. I wanted to make a comment about the behavior of a Congresswoman, Maxine Waters, and her outrageous lack of responsibility. Why does not the leaders in the House and the Senate condemn her on the Democrat side of the House? You have Nancy, the face of the Democrat Party, Pelosi, and you have Schmuck Schumer. Where are they? Where are they? How come they're not condemning what she's saying?
They both did sort of rebuke her because because it's politically it's not politically helpful what she's doing. I think they think, So they both did say something on the topic, but that was not received well. Thanks for the call, Ken. Let me give you an example of how it's being received by where the energy is on the left. And it's not, around Pelosi and Pagliacci. Where the energy is, it's with folks like Angela Rye. You probably see her on CNN from time to time. She was on yesterday with Aaron Burnett, debating friend of the show, Steve Cortez, on this issue. Here's what she had to say about what's really going on with those who are rebuking Maxine Waters, no justice, no peace, Maxine, regardless if they're on the right or the left.
It has everything to do with the fact that this black woman is intimidating to some people who can't handle the truth.
Oh.
It's a race thing. And
she intimidates me.
It's a race thing. She intimidates Pagliacci, Pelosi, Trump, everybody who doesn't agree with her. And also, this is a pattern with Trump. Trump is intimidated by black women generally.
Donald Trump responded to that. Come on, Aaron. There's time and time again we can look at Donald Trump's tweets. He's intimidated by Jamel Hill. He's intimidated by Frederica Wilson. He's intimidated by Maxine Waters. Overwhelmingly and disproportionately so, it has everything to do with race. And that is why I find Chuck Schumer's comments deplorable and offensive. It's un-American. Why? Okay. It's un-American. Why? Because what America are you talking about? This is America of lynch mobs, too. Like, let's be very clear. And she didn't call for violence. Donald Trump did.
Steve.
Angela Rye is a former executive director of the Congressional Black Caucus. Ooh. So you're starting to get a sense of where the energy is on the left and what it sounds like.
But how could she not? I mean, we heard the same words come out of Maxine Waters' mouth. That was a call to action to intimidate, to harass Trump cabinet members.
If you see anybody from the cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd and you push back on them and you tell them they're not welcome anymore anywhere.
Those were the exact words that she used.
Yeah.
Yes. And she processed that completely different than
processing it. I don't know if she did process it. Mike on the north side.
Good morning, kids. Thanks for taking my call. Amy, how did the singing go yesterday? Do I have to go in the witness protection program or lay down on the Dan Ryan?
Yeah, July 7th.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Okay.
You can watch the podcast of it.
Yeah, it was. She had her moments. There was a couple of nice runs, but it wasn't Mariah Carey quality.
No.
You didn't practice the song before you tried it on air?
No, and also it's Petula Clark.
That's what I put. That's what I put, but I think maybe the spell check must have changed it.
Oh, okay. All right, Mike.
I know.
Thank you for the effort. You're a decent lyricist, and we look forward to more of your work. Now, on this topic.
Well, on this topic, I just want to applaud the Democrats. Keep going at it. I've got union workers at work who'll say they'll never vote for him again. You're turning people off. And I asked him, I said, what's the difference between the people that are pushing abortion and the people that push people on the boxcars and send them to Auschwitz? What's the difference between the people that are pushing abortion and the people that controlled slavery? I mean, the same party that was in charge of slavery and promoted slavery, the Democrats, are the ones pushing abortion. So I make sure I tell that to all the young black workers who I work at. I go, remember this. They like you only as long as you're in a room with them and you outnumber them.
Thanks for the call, Mike. I mean, I like there was a tweet earlier in the week from Catholic Vote about basically referencing the Democrats are at it again, telling who can sit at which lunch counter. Going back to the civil rights era, of course, it was Southern Democrats that were the lead opposition to civil rights and to Jim Crow. Dave Harsanyi, our friend from the Federalist, has a good piece about the real world starting to resemble Twitter, and he responds to the call for, the shame mobsters to pursue anybody who's ever uttered the word Trump or nannied for Barron. He writes, certainly politicians don't deserve safe spaces from peaceful protest or even confrontation. Of course, spitting at Republicans is not peaceful. No. You want to make their lives miserable, humiliate them, show everyone how principled and right-thinking you are? By all means, stop them from having those chimichangas. That'll teach them. But don't fool yourself into self-idealization. You're no budding MLK. No matter what you think of Trump, you're still an insufferable a-hole. You're a member of a tribalist, blindered mob imbued with a false sense of certitude that allows you to justify incivility. That's to say, you're like a Twitter troll made real. That's a good riff.
That's good.
Philip on the Northwest Side.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. We got the greatest listening audience in the world. I tell you, you guys got a great show.
Thank you.
I thank God. I thank God you're on. I really mean it because you know something. Everybody's so badly misinformed all of our lives. The last 2 or 3 callers are dead on, especially Mike. I've been in the unions. I've been independent. I've been Irish, Greek, and Italian. Every single mafia we have meets in the Teamster Hall. Doesn't matter if it's Clonagal or the Ku Klux Klan, or it doesn't matter. They all are Democrats. They've been rallied by the Communist Party over the last 60, 70 years. They haven't been Democratic in 75 years. You look at Clinton, he sold out to China. And that Mike is 100% correct, where they will sit there and pin society against each other all day long while they steal from the top and marionette everybody. And everybody in this program should be reading the New American Magazine and listening to more shows like this, because this is so... They need the information. They need the information because this is so rallied against our public with a controlled chaos and endless anarchy, and all of it is against Christianity. Christ tells you to love your neighbor, pray for your enemy. If you're doing the opposite, your society breaks down.
Thanks.
In the 70s, they told us to slow us down, and you know they haven't stopped. They haven't stopped attacking us since then.
Thanks for the call, Philip. I can't share your recommendation for the New American. I am not a.
Well, it's very informative. I'm not saying everybody's got to join the Birch Society.
No.
But it's a very informative information. Very informative.
Yeah, thanks for the call. I would suggest people do not join the Birch Society. A little stronger than that.
Back to my hero, Elaine Cho. Got a text message. Amy, you're right. How cool is she? She looks like she's squaring off and ready to go. I'm putting my money on her.
Yeah, and that's you know,
I love that. If you have not seen that video, I mean, what a great woman.
Yeah, I mean, she like through caution and concern about that nice St. John suit she was wearing to the wind. She was ready to teach those kids some manners.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up, what it's like to anchor next to the big tuna. First, it's a story we're never going to do, but I wanted to tease it anyway. Kathy Brock and
Tony
Floyd
Accardo? Tony Accardo was an anchor on ABC7?
Floyd Caliber, they called him the big tuna, and Kathy
Did Accardo
Brock
know about that? Because Floyd Caliber wouldn't have made it if he knew.
I don't know, but it's Kathy Brock's last week at ABC7. They're celebrating all week. Humid today, intervals of clouds and sun, a high of 81 degrees. Well, Kathy Brock said something very nice about you once, that you're a good-looking gentleman.
She did.
That's sweet. I love Kathy Brock. She's one of my favorite anchors.
I have nothing against her, but I just like the kind of, you know how I am with like media awards, or media gives each other awards, or they do these like week-long retrospectives.
That's what they're doing.
I mean, it's
this week.
Is it just a little self-indulgent?
Well, a little bit, but it's also a history of Chicago, and I love watching the old sets and seeing the old people that have passed away. Like
Favorite stories that Kathy Brock read to you. We'll take your calls all morning.
312-642-5600. Rain is behind us, so that's good. It's going to be, again, a high of 81 today, and tomorrow 88 degrees. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. How are you remembering Kathy Brock, Jim Telemonte?
I'll leave that to you and Dan, the experts. Thanks so much. I don't need to join the media self-indulgence. But, Amy, you mentioned water earlier this morning. We now have one flood-related closure anyway. The waters have risen in Grays Lake after the rain, and 137 right now is blocked between Atkinson and Casey. There's some high water on 83 south of 137, but that road is passable. The Edens is 21 minutes, like Cook to Montrose. Kennedy, 30 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. The Ike now 47 minutes, 390 to Burn Circle. Stevenson, 49 minutes, 355 to the Drive. Bryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. A couple of crashes on the Adams Tollway have cleared. One eastbound before 47. Westbound at the Elgin Toll, we're not seeing significant delays on the tollways. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Kevin Bastuga, co-founder of Signature Bank. If you get the feeling your deposits don't matter to your bank, then maybe you're not with the right bank. At Signature Bank, your deposits matter to us as much as your business loans. Signature provides unmatched banking expertise, custom financial solutions, and the industry's best technology to closely held Chicagoland businesses. Whether your business is looking for a deposit relationship or needs a ready source for financing, Signature Bank is the right bank for you. Call us today to see how Signature Bank can help your business grow and thrive.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Everything you do is for your family. The long hours you work are to give them the most comfortable life possible. But as a commercial driver, you're constantly missing milestone events and quality time. It doesn't have to be that way. As a regional carrier, Romar Transportation delivers intermodal loads and imports and exports from their transactional warehouse. This means you can tuck your kids into bed and kiss your wife goodnight. You don't need to sacrifice your lifestyle. Romar offers weekly pay, safety, and sign-up bonuses. With competitive health benefits, 401k, and vacation time, Romar allows you to live and work, not work to live. Call 773-376-8800 to apply today. Romar is also hiring independent contractors. Before it was mandated, Romar made sure to be ELD compliant. You shouldn't have to worry about jeopardizing your license when you're delivering. Romar wants you to enjoy the open road and earn a healthy living. Call 773-376-8800 to apply today. Romar Transportation Logical Logistics.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly. I was reading an article the other day that the average American homeowner has over $16,000 in high interest rate credit card debt. Every morning you wake up and you work so hard to get ahead, but by the end of the month, you're just barely getting by. Then when things pop up like new tires, medical bills, school supplies, a laptop, it ends up on the credit cards. Well, the good news is if you're a homeowner, there's never been a better time to do a cash out refinance. Your home is going up in value quicker than it has over the last 10 years. And mortgage rates are still near these all-time low levels. Cash out loans are some of our favorites. Honestly, they really are, because those are the ones that make the greatest impact in a person's financial situation. Those are the loans where we're saving people $500, $1,000, even $2,000 a month. If you do have some credit cards, write them down. Get an idea of how high the balances are, how high the interest rates are, and then apply for a cash out refinance today at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
It's the Ace Red, White, and Blue sale. The perfect time to buy a grill from our exclusive lineup of premium brands, like the latest from Weber, Traeger, and more. And right now, get free assembly and free delivery on our top grill brands, $3.99 and up. Get the right grill delivered right to your house. Hurry in before it ends. The Red, White, and Blue sale only at Ace. Offer valid for Ace Rewards members only through July 9th. See participating store for scheduling and details.
On the streets of Miami, speed is the law. So when a corn dog goes after the wrong girl,
oh, heartburn!
One man will bring her Tums Ultra Strength.
I'm on my way.
Don't get wrecked by heartburn. Nothing works faster than Tums.
Your mustard's fast, but my Tums are faster.
And with Tums on the go rules, it's never been easier to leave heartburn behind.
You did it. Yeah. You gonna finish that corn dog?
Tums Ultra Strength, available in a store near you.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, and so talking about the Supreme Court decisions, the call to arms from No Justice, No Peace Maxine and others on the left against Trump and anybody who has ever uttered his name with something other than contempt. The RNC has released a new ad that plays on this idea that the left is the lunatic fringe, that they're unhinged, and has all the stars in their now infamous pronouncements.
A few years ago, ideas that we talked about were thought to be fringe ideas, radical ideas, extremist ideas. Those ideas are now mainstream.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
Do some
something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
What's Uncle Tom but for white women who disappoint other white women?
One way you get rid of Trump is a crashing economy, so please bring on the recession.
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
Madonna, remember that classic?
Oh, and President Trump just tweeted, congratulations to Maxine Waters, whose crazy rants have made her, together with Nancy Pelosi, the unhinged face of the Democratic Party. Together, they will make America weak again, but have no fear, America is now stronger than ever, and I'm not going anywhere.
You hear the gunshot at the end of that ad. That was the Snoop Dogg video, right, with Trump being assassinated. So basically...
and that was Johnny Depp, you said?
Yeah, Johnny Depp. When was the last time an actor assassinated a president? I mean, over the last year, from the Women's P March to present, those are the leading lights of the left in full bloom, radiating out. So there's your choice. It's very interesting, and this is why Schumer and Pelosi try to rein Maxine Waters in, because they recognize that the appetite for what you just heard in that minute montage is not nearly as big as those speakers would like to think it is. Here's the other thing, the aging out of the Democrats. So interesting stats on the composition of the U.S. House. Mm-hmm. Those born in the 60s, 70s, or 80s, so those in their 30s, 40s, or 50s, 126 Republicans to 73 Democrats. Those born in the 1940s, 1930s, in their 70s and 80s, 59 Democrats to 31 Republicans. So as much as we talk about the millennials and the youth being on the side of the left, it's not really reflected in terms of the composition of the caucuses. And this is what the Joe Crowleys are running into, the Nancy Pelosi's and the Pagliacci's are running into. Dangerous time for the established power structure of the Democrat Party at the national level.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, another reason to move the Gay Pride Parade. There's a video going viral of a Chicago police officer taking down a woman. We'll explain.
And we'll talk to Mary Fiorito from the Ethics and Public Policy Center about the Supreme Court's Becerra decision, striking a blow for free speech.
But first, let's go into the newsroom and catch up with Mike Scott.
70 degrees. Chicagoland feeling the effects of severe weather overnight. Thunderstorms, damaging winds caused flooding in the area last night. Up to 4 inches of rain across the northern suburbs, and a tornado struck southwest suburban Manhattan, where buildings were damaged and trees and power poles knocked down. President Trump cheering the U.S. Supreme Court ruling on his temporary travel ban.
Today's Supreme Court ruling, a tremendous success, a tremendous victory for the American people and for our Constitution.
The High Court voting 5-4 to uphold the presidential order, which aimed to limit travel and immigration from several countries. Bank of America facing a federal discrimination lawsuit accusing the bank of failing to maintain and market foreclosed homes in minority neighborhoods. The lawsuit argues the properties in predominantly black and Latino neighborhoods were likely to be neglected. Former Republican presidential nominee Mitt Romney a step closer to becoming a U.S. senator.
I believe that Utah values are the very values that our country was founded upon. We believe that we're sons and daughters of the same God, and that we are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights.
Romney won yesterday's primary in Utah for the Republican nomination to succeed Orrin Hatch. Congressman Andy Biggs says enough is enough. The Arizona Republican this morning called for the censure and condemnation of Representative Maxine Waters.
Basically, I think that it's got some legs, and I haven't talked to anybody both within my little echo chamber and outside of it who doesn't agree that she's crossed the line.
The Democrat Congresswoman asked supporters to harass Trump administration staffers and officials. Closing arguments expected later today in the wrongful death lawsuit brought by the family of Quintonio LeGrier. A suspect in a double murder investigation in Bloomington is in jail in Chicago. 20-year-old Hammett Brown was nabbed by Chicago police for the June 10th shootings that left 2 dead. Chicago aldermen want to rename Congress Parkway after African-American journalist and anti-lynching activist Ida B. Wells. Cubs over the Dodgers 9-4. John Lester wins number 10. Avisail Garcia and Yolmer Sanchez knocked in runs. White Sox beat the Twins 8-4. The news, a service of Unbound.org. Right now there's a girl in India with dreams bigger than her village. Right now there's an elder in Guatemala who dreams of a life of greater dignity and less loneliness. You can help change the future of one person in a single moment. Begin the change at Unbound.org. 6:34, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager, The Dennis Prager Show.
One of the reasons that there are no competing goods for the left on this issue is they don't really care if we are inundated with illegal immigrants. That's one reason. Another reason is everything is seen in the prism of how can it hurt this administration.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, a family tradition since 1897.
Risk mitigation is an important consideration that smart companies pay attention to in today's complicated business climate. Some of the greatest risks occur when your company hires new employees or when you execute new business financial relationships. When your company hires, leases, or conducts financial transactions, decisions are critical. That's why veteran-owned and operated Global Verification Network is a company you should know. Startups to Fortune 100s trust Global Verification Network, and so should you. They're a background screening and investigative services company dedicated to expert, timely, and affordable background screening services for employment, tenant screening, and business due diligence. Global Verification Network is headquartered in Chicagoland, a federally recognized veteran-owned small business, and never offshores data like many competitors. To request your company's risk analysis without obligation or cost, visit mygvn.com or call 877-695-1179 or online at mygvn.com. Global Verification Network, the risk mitigation experts, 877-695-1179.
It is 6:36. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Eden's inbound delays start at Niles Center, 24 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 21. Kennedy, now 40 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 18 from Montrose, 17 in the Express. Outbound 14 minutes to Montrose, 35 to the airport. Westbound 190 is a little heavy, but you get past the Tri-State. Eisenhower, 53 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 37. Stevenson, 49 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 35. Ryan is 33 minutes, 95th to downtown. Board 20 minutes, 80-94 to the merge. Northbound Tri-State delays are from 115th to 75th, from the Stevenson to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. The other tollways are still okay. And traffic, service of Aruba Tourism. Be one happy family on one happy island. Vacation in sunny Aruba with accommodations to fit every family size and budget. Hop a daily nonstop flight from O'Hare to one happy island. Plan your happy escape to Aruba today at aruba.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Humid, clouds, and sunshine. We will top out today at 81, currently 70. Next news coming up at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
Some call me the sage from South Central. Others call me the czar of common sense. But you can call me Larry Elder. And you're invited to join me tonight starting at 7 right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Two important Supreme Court decisions yesterday. One, upholding the president's broad authority with respect to immigration policy in the context of national security, his Article 2 powers with the temporary travel ban decision. Again, the most important words in the Justice Roberts authored opinion in that 5-4 decision. We express no view on the soundness of the policy. That's what judicial restraint sounds like. That's what the separation of powers sounds like. The other case is Nifla v. Becerra. It was a California case, state of California, attempting to compel pregnancy resource centers to advertise for the state's abortion service providers and abortion services. Well, so it's seen, much as like the temporary travel ban was seen as like an issue of bigotry rather than of executive authority. This was seen as like a pro-life, pro-choice issue, which it is in its application, but fundamentally it's a free speech case. Again, a narrow 5-4 decision. How important was President Trump getting elected? How important was Neil Gorsuch on the Supreme Court? 5-4 decision in favor of freedom of speech. More on this topic. We're pleased to be joined by Mary Fiorito. She is an attorney and the Cardinal Francis George Visiting Fellow at the Ethics and Public Policy Center. She's also a board member at Aid for Women, which is a Chicago-based Catholic life-affirming pregnancy resource center, so a lot of application here. And I'm on the advisory board of that organization in the interest of full disclosure. Mary, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be speaking with you this morning.
So the importance of this decision, first for pregnancy resource centers around the country, but then the larger issue of freedom of speech in this country.
Well, and not just freedom to speak the message that you want to speak, but freedom from the government compelling you to speak a message that you have profound disagreements with. And that's really what was at play in this case. And, even for non-lawyers, I would really recommend, Googling the decision and reading Justice Thomas's opinion. And he wrote the majority opinion. And because what he lays out in terms of what California was attempting to do to these largely Christian-based organizations, it can have applications in all sorts of different other areas. And for people who are pro-choice, they might happen to agree with the message that the state wanted these pregnancy centers to speak on the government's behalf. But, when the tables turn and it could be a message with which they disagree, and had this case gone the other way, the government very easily could have compelled them based on this decision to do so.
So what did these centers, what was it like in California? So if you'd go into Planned Parenthood, what were the women told that were pregnant?
Well, in Planned Parenthood, obviously, if a woman is going into Planned Parenthood to seek an abortion, they are not compelled, Planned Parenthood, to advise women, for example, that adoption services are available for free, or that pregnancy centers exist to provide them with free housing or other kinds of material support that they might need. That's not required at all of the abortion clinics or of Planned Parenthood. What the act, Amy, that was passed in California was called the California Reproductive Freedom, Accountability, Comprehensive Care, and Transparency Act. It was called the FACT Act. And it was, allegedly enacted to make sure that women would know that in California, like in Illinois, there are essentially state-funded abortions available, also state-funded contraceptive services if they would like that. And so what the law purported to do was to make sure that all California women who were pregnant would be aware that the state would pay for their abortion for free if they wanted one. So pregnancy centers, of course, exist to provide women with alternatives to abortion. And what Justice Thomas wrote in his decision was, there's plenty of other ways that the state could go about making sure that women knew that they could get free abortions. He said something like, I'm paraphrasing, but how about like a billboard campaign, rather than instead forcing people who work in pregnancy centers not only to speak the government's message if a client came in, but they had to include it, Amy and Dan, in all of their advertising.
Pre-written notice
Correct.
to clients that these centers don't perform abortions, for example.
Oh, yeah, in 13 different languages. And it had to be in a certain font type, point type. It had to be in a 48-point type. They even specified that. So, for example, this came up actually during the oral arguments. If, for example, like Aid for Women, if we took out a big billboard ad that just said choose life, underneath the words choose life, we would have to have this 28-word message from the state of California in 13 different languages, including Tagalog and Farsi and Vietnamese and different Chinese languages, that this is not an abortion clinic. And in the state of California, you are entitled to a free abortion, under whatever the Medicaid policy is. You would have to put that on a billboard that just said choose life.
Yes.
This is how absurd.
Not enough room on the billboard.
So what would
what was bizarre.
right? Yeah, but what the state of California tried to do, as Justice Thomas readily saw, was create a new category of speech where no restraint on government existed, called professional speech. And Thomas, in his opinion, noted that to invent such a category would, quote, give the states unfettered power to reduce a group's First Amendment rights simply by imposing a licensing requirement. And that was persuasive even to Justice Kennedy, who's sometimes all over the map.
Justice Kennedy's dissent is worth reading. It's quite short, but if everyone wants kind of a good laugh for the day, Justice Kennedy's dissent is fantastic, because what he does is he really calls out the state of California for what he calls its self-congratulatory message, that it is so forward-thinking. And he said it actually might be a little more forward-thinking for you all to sit down and read the First Amendment. It's really very nicely done, and I was very pleased to see it coming from Justice Kennedy.
And so the implications for this, what would have the implications been? I mean, because part of this is understanding what the consequences of this would have been had the court ruled differently, had this law been allowed to stand, and then perhaps other states would have modeled it. So just to kind of in practical terms, how would this impact Aid for Women, an organization here in Chicago that you're obviously intimately familiar with?
Oh, sure. This would have had a tremendous negative impact on the pregnancy centers, the maternity homes, and the social service agencies that attempt to provide alternatives to women who are pregnant. And you have to kind of get yourself in the mindset of a young girl who knows she's pregnant, or a young woman, or thinks she might be pregnant. You are afraid, you are anxious, you don't know, what you're going to do, in an hour, never mind, 9 months from now. So when a woman comes in to one of our centers, and this is pretty consistent across the board for all centers, you want to start with her with a place of neutrality. Come in, tell me about what's going on with you. First of all, let's find out if you are pregnant, right? We do a pregnancy test. And then if you are, let's sit down in a very neutral way that presents to you your options without pressuring you. Let's discuss some of the different ways you might be able to handle this situation. Now, if you are pregnant and you don't necessarily want to be pregnant, you're in a state of mind where whatever the first message you hear might have tremendous influence over the decision that you make. And it might not necessarily be the decision you would have wanted to make, So, for example, I can tell you my first pregnancy, I had a tremendous number of complications. And the very first thing the doctor said to me was, well, you can't interrupt this pregnancy. And I said, well, gosh, that's really not something I'd like to do. Are there other options? And then she said, oh, yeah, we could do X, Y, and Z, But when you lead with that, and you might be a person who doesn't consider there might be other options, you might hear is, oh, my gosh, I have to have an abortion, right? So what the court was trying to do here was to say, no, listen, people have a right to be informed in a way that does not lead them in a certain direction. And so if a pregnancy center employee or counselor is told, when a young woman comes in and she says to you, I'm pregnant, you have to begin that conversation by saying, do you know you can get a free abortion in the state of California? And here's the information, and here's the phone number, and here's where the clinic is located.
Yeah.
So, right, it completely skews the conversation from the very first moment. And it might lead a woman in a direction that she may not even been considering that. Right. But because you must lead with that, it's government information and looks very official. It really, again, it skews the entire conversation away from where a pregnancy center, personnel would like it to go, which is, let's talk about what's really best for you, what's best for your child, what's really in your best interest. And it just puts a completely horrible veneer over the entire conversation.
How many babies have you saved since your creation?
Since Aid for Women was started. So we're having our 40th anniversary this year. Wow. And we're going to be having a wonderful dinner in October. My Huckabee's coming in. It's going to be fantastic.
Will Aid for Women be serving Mike Huckabee? Because I don't know
Yeah,
if the Huckabees.
Too soon.
Yeah, you wonder. Like, I mean, it's was. I hope things don't continue to deteriorate in the way that they have
He'll be
been.
fine.
Thank God we're not having the dinner at Red Hen or whatever.
Yes, exactly.
Farm
yeah,
to table.
right.
A welcoming
Yeah.
venue, but one does wonder, But it has for us, when we look back and see, and some of the babies now are young men and women in their 30s and 40s who are now adults and have their own families. And you think, but for that pregnancy center being there, these people wouldn't be there. Their kids wouldn't be here.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, Dan, you know the story. We have one client, Amy, who came to us, and she actually mistakenly thought we were a Planned Parenthood. And she came in. We were able to discuss some other options with her that she didn't even know existed. She didn't know there was such a thing as a maternity home where she could live for free. So she decided to choose for her little boy, whose name is Christian. He's a beautiful little 3 or 4 year old now. But, not only that, so she lived at our maternity home. We were then able to find for her a special scholarship for single African-American women at a Catholic college in Minnesota. So we sent her away. She was able to go away to college. So now she is a beautiful child. She has a college degree. She has an independent and self-sufficient future for her. I mean, don't you think that's better? I mean, other than she would have gone into the abortion clinic and then gone back to her home in Englewood and probably have wound up pregnant again. But now the entire course of her life has changed because of the sacrifices and the commitment of, people at Aid for Women who made that possible for her.
That's great.
And then just to put a bow on this, though, too, this Becerra case, precedent setting, that transcends the debate on abortion, because you're talking about government directed speech in a professional setting. If California would have been able to create this professional speech category of speech that the government could impose its will, so that this would have been kind of across industry and across the range of topics that are imaginable.
Oh yeah, and this is exactly what Justice Thomas points out. He says the government cannot seek to suppress unpopular ideas and unpopular information. And that's what we were doing, was the government attempting to suppress a message of options to abortion and replacing that message with a message that was in favor of abortion. And I think, too, you need to consider why this act, again, the ostensible purpose of it was to make sure that women had information. Well, every time a woman chooses life over choosing abortion, an abortion clinic
loses money.
Right?
Yeah, there it is.
So this is a $500 billion a year industry. And, Dan and you and I both have met Abby Johnson, who's the former Planned Parenthood clinic director from Texas, who, was called in at one point by her regional manager and told, your abortion numbers have dropped this month. They're low. You got to get them back up again. I mean, and she says to her, to her supervisor, well, wait a second, I thought we were a nonprofit. And she was told, oh, Abby, nonprofit is a tax status. It's not a business model.
Yeah.
You need to get your numbers back up. So you have to realize that there must have been within the California General Assembly tremendous pressure from the abortion industry because, again, every time a woman goes to a pregnancy center, that's a potential, cash client that has been lost by that clinic.
And understand
and
it.
I think,
yeah, and understand exactly what it is in industry. She is Mary Fiorito, attorney and Cardinal Francis George Visiting Fellow at the Ethics and Public Policy Center and a board member at Aid for Women in Chicago. Mary, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
I'm Lou Dobbs. House Republicans passing food stamp restrictions, the FAA banning drones over prisons, and Uber back in business at least for a year in London. Those stories next.
Hey, this is Ricky from Banyan Hill. I want to get a few things straight. First off, I like freedom. Second, I like money. Fact is, I like freedom and money, which is why I love Freedom Checks, a unique investment that can secure your retirement income without being tied down to the government. And while I'm no genius, I am smart enough to follow an expert like Matt, who showed me how anyone has the chance to stake their claim on an estimated $34.6 billion payout. To get all the details from Matt, just go to myfreedomchecks.com. Thousands of people are already lined up to cash in. Take Doug, for example. He's a 46-year-old from Joplin, Missouri, who's set to get a check for $24,075. Now, how much your check is depends on how much you put behind Matt's insights, but the potential here is undeniable. Of course, if you want the chance to grab your full fair share of this $34.6 billion, You must have your ducks in a row ASAP. So don't wait. Go see Matt at myfreedomchecks.com. That's www.myfreedomchecks.com.
House Republicans yesterday passed legislation to require Americans aged 18 through 59 to work part-time or spend 20 hours a week in job training in order to qualify for food stamps. The FAA banned drones from airspace over prisons and Coast Guard facilities. This complies with requests from the Justice Department and Homeland Security, concerned that drones flying over prisons could, well, of course, drop weapons or contraband of some kind to inmates. And a court in London has given ride-hailing company Uber a license to resume operations. However, Uber was granted a probationary license only for 15 months in order to give officials time to evaluate its policies and procedures. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern, on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Gentlemen, June is Men's Health Month. Do you know your numbers? You may know your blood pressure and cholesterol, but do you know your testosterone and prostate numbers? I know mine. I went to Low T Center. They made it quick and easy. You get your results in about 20 minutes. At Low T Center, most health insurance is accepted, and they'll even verify your insurance for you. Low T Center physicians have been exclusively diagnosing and treating men for low testosterone for years. And in honor of Men's Health Month, Low T Center is offering a special testosterone and prostate level test for just $50. Take advantage of this offer, especially if you haven't met your deductible yet, or have a high copay, or simply don't have insurance. If you've noticed a decline in energy or motivation, you may have low testosterone. Low T makes you feel tired and grumpy, can raise your cholesterol and cause weight gain. Low T Center's experienced medical staff will educate you on the benefits and risks of testosterone replacement. So do what I did. Get your numbers checked. You owe it to yourself to call 312-239-3427. Tell them Dan Prof sent you. The number 312-239-3427. Call 312-239-3427 or go to lowtcenter.com.
That's Dot. She's here to greet me after a long day. She's the only one who wants to be near me when I'm sick. She's my best friend. Thanks to folks like South Suburban Humane Society, Dot went from living on the street to a dog that wears clothes. Yep, I'm that guy. So how did I get so lucky? Before I met Dot, I spent time at South Suburban. Giving to a nonprofit isn't always about giving money or donating food and supplies, although that's appreciated too. South Suburban Pets just want your love. We encourage you to come by the facility, take a dog for a walk, play with Dot's cat friends, or even foster a pet to keep your flexibility. If you're interested in how you can volunteer or donate, visit them at southsuburbanhumane.org. That's right, Dot. South Suburban is a 501c3, which means all donations are tax deductible for individuals and businesses. Text DONATE to 708-866-0065 or visit southsuburbanhumane.org. South Suburban Humane Society, creating a better world for pets and their people.
Looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home? Then you need to do what I did and call Pearl Mortgage. Ted is an Army veteran who served multiple tours in Iraq. Upon returning home, Ted struggled with PTSD and had a hard time. So Ted lived in multiple veteran homes before being introduced to Rags of Honor. It's a Chicago-based silk screening company who hires homeless and chronically unemployed veterans. Ted was a machine operator, got promoted to director of digital marketing, and recently left Rags of Honor after securing a higher-paying job. Help employ homeless veterans like Ted. Go to ragsofhonor.us and purchase their silk screening clothing. Use promo code Team Hochberg to save 50% off the second item purchased. Now, if you're a veteran securing a VA loan, listen up. Call Team Hochberg, a lender who respects your service and proudly supports veterans. Call him at 312-751-1333. Team Hochberg helped me and thousands of AM 560 listeners, but they can't help you if you don't call. 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358, NMLS 19186.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I went to have my blood test done a few weeks ago, and I met the doctor, and he was really encouraged by my progress, and I showed him what I was taking, and he started looking at all the ingredients, and he said, I'm really impressed with the shiitake mushroom. And he said, this stuff, it could clean out your arteries. And I'm like, oh, wow. he said, you may be onto something here. And he said, you just keep that up, and maybe you can start cutting back on your medication. And he says, you're helping your health by doing that. And I'm like, whoa, endorsement by the doctor.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Our freedom and security are made possible through the service and sacrifice of our military and first responders. The Gary Sinise Foundation provides many outreach programs supporting these brave men and women. Join us. Donate at GarySiniseFoundation.org.
Hey guys, Ken here from the Business Accelerator podcast, Today's Growth. If you had to choose a vehicle to take you up the rocky side of a mountain, would you choose a Ferrari or a Jeep? The Ferrari's faster, cooler, maybe even sexier, but if you have to get to the top, the Jeep's a better bet. I think we can agree getting to the top is not about the driver, it's the vehicle. Have you noticed people often pick their financial vehicle like they pick their cars? Washington Post shared that only 1 out of 4 people choose a job that uses their college degree. Why? Simple. Something more immediate, maybe cooler, maybe even sexier came along first. Shouldn't the main deciding factors for revenue generation be production or output? Should the cool factor have any weight in choosing someone's income? If getting to the top of the financial mountain is mission critical for you, why not add a few Jeeps to your garage? Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that makes it to the top every time? If so, you have to see the Jeeps lined up at IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
What's happening? What does it mean? Why is it important? We've got the answer. AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Voted out of Congress. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. One of the top Democrats in the House upset in his primary by a Bernie Sanders supporting socialist. Fox's Tanya J. Powers live where it happened here in New York City.
Joe Crowley had been seen as a possible replacement for Nancy Pelosi as leader, but instead becomes the first Democratic incumbent to lose this primary season. He was beaten by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, whose campaign played up her working-class Bronx roots.
This victory belongs to every single grassroots organizer, every working parent, every mom, every member of the LGBTQ community. Every single person is responsible for this.
That audio from New York One. President Trump tweeted about Crowley's loss, saying he should have been nicer, quote, to his president. Dave?
Tanya, in another New York district, a Trump-backed House Republican won his primary. Dan Donovan beat Michael Grimm, an ex-con and ex-congressman who was trying to get his job back. In Utah,
we're absolutely convinced that America is the greatest nation on earth.
Mitt Romney won his Republican Senate primary. In South Carolina, Governor Henry McMaster won his primary runoff a day after President Trump held a rally for him. A federal judge has ordered the Trump administration to stop separating families at the border and reunite those that were. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
A California federal judge has ordered U.S. border authorities to reunite separated families within 30 days. And under the order, if the children are younger than 5, they must be reunited within 2 weeks. U.S. District Judge Dana Sabra also issued a nationwide injunction on future family separations unless the parent is deemed unfit. President Trump issued an executive order last week ending family separation. While the administration says its zero-tolerance policy remains in effect, Customs and Border Protection says it's no longer prosecuting immigrants who enter the country with children. Dave?
And John, in East Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, a police officer shot a teenager last week, has now been charged. Fox News. Fair and balanced.
Cloudy skies, 69 degrees, 7:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Chicagoland feeling the effects of severe weather, thunderstorms, and damaging winds. Caused some flooding in the area last night, and cleanup is underway after at least one tornado, perhaps two, hit southwest suburban Manhattan. Closing arguments are expected today in the wrongful death lawsuit brought by the family of Quintonio LeGrier. Trial is underway for a former lawyer accused of murdering his wife in 1973 in Chicago's northwest suburbs. Donnie Rudd is charged with the beating of his wife before staging her death to look like a car accident in Barrington. Rudd was not charged in that killing until 2015. The U.S. Supreme Court decision in favor of the Trump temporary travel ban sparked criticism from Mayor Rahm Emanuel. As AM 560's David Stewart reports.
The Supreme Court voted 5-4 to approve President Trump's order barring travel from a number of mostly Muslim countries. Mayor Emanuel said the decision is not only anti-immigrant, it's un-American.
We are a nation of immigrants who come here, work hard. Almost half the new businesses and small businesses are started by immigrants. You cannot be pro-small business and not pro-immigration.
Emanuel pointed out that the decision is a direct result of the election that put Trump in office and thus Neil Gorsuch on the Supreme Court. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
News from the food business this morning. ConAgra is buying Pinnacle Foods in a cash stock deal valued at about $10.9 billion. The food company will expand ConAgra into the frozen food and snacks category. Pinnacle's brands, well, you've used them. Bird's Eye, Duncan Hines, Hungry Man. Chicago-based ConAgra has brands like Reddi-wip, Hunt's, and Slim Jim. Pinnacle shareholders are expected to own approximately 16% of the combined company. Republican Governor Bruce Rauner and First Lady Diana Rauner have released a list of partial donors to a $15 million renovation of the Illinois governor's mansion. Rauner's Democratic opponent in the fall election is one of the biggest contributors. State Journal Register reports the foundation of J.B. Pritzker and his wife donated between $250,000 and $500,000 to the renovation. Cubs over the Dodgers 9-4. Sox double up the Twins 8-4. The news is a service of the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America invites you to take steps for cures at a walk event near you. Support the 1.6 million Americans living with these diseases. Get started at cctakesteps.org. 7:04 on AM 560. Time for a dry basement and a healthy home. It's time to call Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Larry Elder. The Larry Elder Show.
That wouldn't be Chuck Schumer in 2014, would it be?
People who enter the United States without our permission are illegal aliens, and illegal aliens should not be treated the same as people who entered the U.S. legally.
I have a question. I've asked this before. It is a rhetorical question. Do you honestly believe if 80% of illegals turned citizens turned voters would likely vote Republican, we'd have this problem?
The Larry Elder Show, weeknights at 7, right before Jay Sekulow at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
When you conceal carry, you want to carry responsibly, safely, and with confidence. You want UltiClip. UltiClip was designed out of necessity. Traditional holster clips fail in performance, losing their retention or breaking. With UltiClip, you get the ultimate carry solution that replaces standard holster clips and features a smaller visible footprint than other clips. The patented design gains over 10 times the holster retention for better security and maximum concealment. Plus, UltiClip features the first multi-purpose tool and clip combo. And UltiClip isn't just for holsters. It can also be used for knife sheaths. Police departments are using UltiClip to secure their body cameras, badges, and other equipment. Stop wasting money searching for the right holster when you can upgrade and improve your current holster with UltiClip. Proudly made in the USA from spring steel and named Gear of the Year by Gun Digest. Go to ulticlip.com to shop and learn more about ways you can use the best retention clip available. That's ULTIClip.com. Ulticlip.com for ultimate retention and concealment.
When working at a growing business, you wear many hats. The new business hat, the buying toner for the copy machine hat, the sifting through tons of resumes hat. You can throw away that last hat thanks to Indeed.com. When posting your job, Indeed lets you add screener questions that give you a less time-consuming route to your short list of qualified candidates. So go ahead, dust off that extra long lunch hat. Hiring's better when you've got your short list. Save time on hiring when you post a job on Indeed. Get started today at Indeed.com/hire.
You don't remember days, you remember moments. But when the old tapes and photos that hold your cherished memories degrade, or worse, you lose them, they're gone forever. Hi, I'm Nick Mako.
And I'm Adam Baselogger. We started Legacy Box to help you preserve those irreplaceable moments.
Load your Legacy Box with your old tapes, film, pictures, and audio, and send them in. You'll get them back on DVD or a convenient thumb drive.
Visit legacybox.com/USA. And for a limited time, you'll get 40% off your order. legacybox.com/USA.
7:07 and a check on the roads. This morning in the Alarms Detection Systems Traffic Center, here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. There's flooding to the northwest. Hampshire 72 is closed between State and Big Timber. And Grays Lake 137 is closed between Atkinson and Keys. There's the water. Eden's 24 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 23. The Kennedy inbound delays start at Harlem. 42 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 22 from Montrose. Same on the Express. Outbound 17 minutes to Montrose and 40 to the airport. Down Eisenhower looking at 50 minutes. 390 to downtown. 35 from Manheim. Outbound 50 minutes to 390. Crash at St. Charles in the right lane. Stevenson 54 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 42. Ryan is 36 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Tri-State Heavy 122 Atkinson. Northbound delays. Cicero to 31st. Reagan Tollway most of the way to Balmoral. The Adams and Reagan Tollways are fine. The northbound Veterans Memorial is heavy. Fountain and Roosevelt and from the Army Trail toll to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center with meteorologist Alex Rabb.
Humid with intervals of clouds and sunshine today, high of 80. And tonight we're underneath a moonlit sky with humidity, low 68. Tomorrow will be humid with sunshine and patchy clouds and a high of 88. I'm Alexandra Rabb on AM 560. The Answer.
It is 70 at O'Hare, 69 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
They got the beat, the campus beat, the campus beat. Yeah, the campus beat.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. In honor of Chelsea Manning's defeat in the Democrat Senate primary in Maryland, talk a little trans movement, gender fluidity. I took the LSAT many, many years ago when I was a young man.
How did it go?
I did very well.
Oh, excuse me. I shouldn't have even asked. How great are you? Very. How intelligent are you? Very.
I'm just saying. This is not subjective. I'm just saying by the numbers.
Okay. Well, you want to give us some numbers?
No, I'm too modest.
Oh yeah, you're so modesty gets you nowhere. Well,
they didn't have.
Did you find it challenging?
No.
Wow. Did you even study?
I took a couple of Princeton Review practice tests. I'm like, this is cake. So stop spending all this money on those like prep classes and stuff. You need it for the bar exam, but you don't need it for the LSAT.
Okay.
So tell Peyton and Eli. Well, tell them, first of all, don't ever become lawyers. And then secondly, if they do take the LSAT to go to law school to get, the education, which was useful, but not to practice law, and don't study for the LSAT.
Wow.
Except take a couple of practice tests.
Okay.
All right.
Class is over.
Well, no, because I wouldn't have done as well on the LSAT. I would have got stuck on this question. I would have never got to the actual exam.
Right. What is it?
It's the gender question.
Oh, come on.
It was much simpler in my time, back in the Stone Age 20 years ago. The LSAT registration form now has, this is the registration form, but nevertheless, has 11 different options for gender.
11?
Mm-hmm. Agender, androgyne, or androgyny. With an E.
Okay.
Demigender.
What's it, you like denim?
Demi.
Oh, demigender?
Like Demi Moore, demigender. I don't know. I don't know if that means you think you're Demi Moore. I don't know.
Can we create a porcelain pot? Okay, go on.
Gender queer or gender fluid. Man. What is man? I don't.
Man? Normally it's male or female, but man?
Man or woman. I'm not. These terms. What are these terms? Man and woman.
Woman thing. I don't get it.
Transgender man. That's the distinction. Non-transgender man.
What?
So
heck is that gobbledygook?
So there's man.
Yeah.
There's transgender man, and then there's non-transgender man. What's the difference between non-transgender man and man?
And it's an oxymoron.
Or it's a redundancy.
A redundant, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. This is difficult. The LSAT's become a lot. The registration for the LSAT's more difficult than the test now.
Is that a 10-page packet to register?
Questioning or unsure.
Oh, my gosh.
Of course, transgender woman, non-transgender woman. We've covered that. And then also a blank space for additional gender category or identity. Please specify. That's the LSAT. Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Well, you got to get out of the binary. And the Law School Admissions Council does own this. Yeah, they're real excited about this enhancement. The organization does not report statistics about law school applicants by sex. Old reports use the term gender rather than sex. The organization does report, does report by sex, male or female, are not indicated. Old reports use the term gender rather than sex, and so they're just updating their categorization for the purposes of statistical record keeping. Isn't that great?
Oh my gosh.
Here's some really sad news. The Law School Admissions Council finds 58,000 people have applied to law schools for the 2018-2019 academic year. That's up 8% from the previous year.
How much? 8?
Yeah, up 8%.
Why does that make you sad?
More lawyers. Dick the Butcher.
Every reporter should have taken an intro to law course or been required to go to law school, because you deal with crimes and charges and on a daily basis, and people didn't really know about that.
Yeah, or go to a non-Iowa Big Ten school.
Oh, that's so mean.
What happens when the trans movement meets sports? We've found out what happens when it means the LSAT. But we've talked about some of these cases. Boyd Burton, a mixed martial arts fighter, Navy veteran, who as a 31-year-old father began living his life as a woman, called Fallon Fox. Fallon Fox began competing professionally as the sport's first openly transgender athlete, and in one fight, because he's a 31-year-old Navy veteran, mixed martial arts, he delivered a savage beating to an actual woman.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That was 2014. That's 4 years ago. In June of this year, we talked about this, Connecticut State Championships for girls track and field. You saw the video.
Oh, yeah.
Dominated by Terry Miller and Andrea Yearwood. Miller, who competed on the boys' team in the winter indoor season, won the 100-meter and 200-meter dash, setting records in both races. Records for the girls.
Bull jive. That is so unfair. I can't even stand it. I mean, have you seen these runners too? Have you seen them? They are men running with women, and you could see the disappointment in the women's eyes when they cross the finish line, and they look at them with disdain in the heat of 1,000 suns, and I don't blame them. They should take them down.
Remember what
if you have a naughty bit part right down there, you are not going to the starting line.
Remember what I said about this is what's going to happen. Women's sports are going to be marginalized.
I know.
Women are not going to be able to participate in sports.
Now it's running. And next thing you know, it's going to be volleyball or basketball.
In New Zealand, we talked about this one too, 39-year-old Laurel Hubbard, formerly Gavin, set 4 national records in women's weightlifting after competing for years in the sport as a man. 50-year-old Gabriella Ludwig, Robert, who's 6'6", 220, joined the girls' basketball team at Mission College. Cycling, volleyball, marathon, softball, all have seen the emergence of dominant trans athletes smashing records and leaving the female competition far behind. So what's to be done about this? What are you going to do at your school? I know people are surrendering on the bathroom issue. You're going to surrender on the sports issue too? You're going to surrender on the sports issue such that your daughter won't be able to participate in sports she likes playing? Be marginalized, certainly. I mean, I don't expect, high school or grade school or high school teams to be all transgender, but...
Yeah, but even if there's one, say for my girls' 5th and 6th grade volleyball, if there is a man or a male on one of the teams we play, that's a huge disadvantage.
Well, it also takes the spot of a girl.
Well, yeah, right.
So somebody is going to be marginalized, not everybody.
But if you have a boys' team... Oh, no, but if they feel like a girl, they can join or try out. Again, I go back to that kid at Northwestern who tried to join a sorority, and thank goodness every sorority said no.
John
moved yours.
John in Hobart,
Hello.
Indiana. You're on
Hello,
Chicago's
hey,
Morning Answer.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Hey, I just wanted to say, hey, I don't understand, like, well, you said, Dan, well, you said, you're old. I'm old, too.
Yeah.
Hey, do you remember back in the day they used to ask if you were black or white? That was a question on these kind of forums. And if this is such an issue, why even ask what your gender is? I don't really see the significance. What is the point of asking what your gender is? If you're going to have so many, what does it matter? Like,
Oh, you mean on the
male?
LSAT? The LSAT registration form?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you're going to be male, you're going to be trans male, you're going to be half a male, whatever you're going to be. What does it really matter? I'm going to base, if I'm, doing anything, I'm going to base it on the person, right?
Well, I understand. I suppose it's for statistical. You understand, right? The same people who come up with these categories are the people who count by these artificial categories.
Oh,
they're not interested
right.
in your behavior. They're interested in your identity. So for
yeah,
example,
why is that?
well, because if for example you have a smaller percentage of gender fluid students than you should have, then they have to do something about that. You see, it's the same thing with the race issue.
Yeah, well, maybe you and me should meet up this weekend. We could put on some dresses and we could go up there. So, it doesn't make any sense. I don't understand.
John, I appreciate the invitation. I'm going to go ahead and decline that, though.
Okay.
Thank you
Yeah,
very much for the call. Appreciate that.
Hey,
No, it's nice.
I think he was offering me to dress up too.
I don't think so. That's what concerned me. Kent and Aurora.
Yeah, maybe doctors should start treating this the same way. So the guy who becomes a woman, his doctor will stop looking at his prostate, right? And the gynecologist who, well, it's just gross to start thinking about, but it's the very end result that doctors will start only looking at you as the new sex you have and ignore all the possible ailments you might have because of your actual genetic structure.
Right. You have to, enter this world of make-believe with everybody else. Yeah, it's a good point, Ken. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. One good news on the campus beat, that is the West Point, the Army, who tweeted pictures of himself last year wearing communist regalia. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Like a Che Guevara T-shirt, and he described himself as a revolutionary socialist. He said he's going to urge other soldiers in the Army to stop serving agents of imperialism and join us in a revolutionary movement, and so on and so forth. Yeah. He's been discharged from the U.S. Army.
Oh, good.
His resignation was accepted last week, and he will be leaving the military with other than an honorable discharge. While in uniform, Spencer Rapone advocated for communism and political violence and expressed support and sympathy for enemies of the United States. That turns out to be a violation of the honor code, West Point. And now he can run for Congress and become a member of the Democrat caucus. Ralph and Rantoul, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, good morning. Listening to this, I still think Mike Tyson in a skirt could severely beat up Muhammad Ali's daughter any day.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I was thinking about trans. Is trans supposed to be good or bad? I'm confused because for years all I ever heard about was trans fat in my food is bad. So I'm confused now about whether trans I should be supporting it or trans support or trans opposition. I don't know.
That's a great question, Ralph. These are confusing times.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up, something you have to hear. Terry Crews, that actor, testify before the Senate on sexual assault. No, the male actor who was abused, and what he went through is insane. But first, here's your forecast. Today, humid, some clouds and sun. The rain is behind us. A high of 81 degrees. Then tomorrow, even warmer, a high of 88. And we're going to hit the 90s by Friday and Saturday. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks, Dan. Tri-State Tollway southbound. We're seeing delays from 120 to Atkinson. Northbound, it's jammed. Cicero to 31st. And it's heavy from the Reagan Tollway most of the way to Balmoral. On Reagan Tollway, slow 83 to the Tri-State. The northbound Veterans Memorial from Alton to Roosevelt, the Army Trail toll to 290. Eden's 21 minutes, like Cook to Montrose, outbound now 26. Kennedy, 42 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 40. Eisenhower, 50 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound an hour and 8 minutes. Jam is from Laramie to St. Charles, crashed there in the right lane. Stevenson, 54 minutes, 355 to the drive. The Ryan, 37 minutes, 95th to downtown. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Oh, I got another great night's sleep last night thanks to MyPillow. I love it. It conforms to my neck and back. And now they have the MyPillow mattress toppers. I'm sure you've heard about them. There's 3 unique layers of comfort. Supports your body weight, helps relieve pressure points, and keeps your body temperature regulated all night, not too cold or hot. And don't wait to get yours because in June, you'll save 30% plus when you buy that mattress topper at a discount. They'll also throw in 2 free standard MyPillows. It's an unbelievable offer. 2 standard MyPillows free and 30% off a mattress topper. Or get 1 low price on 2 MyPillows and receive free shipping, but you have to use the promo code Amy. 10-year warranty, 60-day money-back guarantee. So go online or call now for these great deals. Plus, if you have a pet, you want to check out their pet beds. What I love about them is you don't throw them away when they get dirty. You wash them and dry them at home. It's perfect. They also have sheets, which are just like Egyptian cotton. I don't know what kind, if it's bamboo, but they're the same, and they're a lot more reasonably priced. So check it all out at MyPillow.com. Type promo code Amy. Type in Amy in the promo code. Or call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201.
The following is a paid announcement.
Now, Geiger Wealth brings you Retire with Confidence.
Thanks for joining us today, where once a week we get together to talk about retirement planning. Bill Geiger, welcome. I know that your firm focuses on working with couples in their late 50s to early 60s, preparing them to retire with confidence. So what exactly should they be doing differently at this stage of their lives?
Mike, if you're a couple in your late 50s to early 60s, you really have 2 big jobs to do right now. The first one is to make sure you don't have a big loss. This close to your retirement, if you think about it, Mike, at this stage of their life, most couples have more money than they've ever had before. And it kind of makes sense, right? And the last thing that they want at this stage of their life, this close to retirement, is to have a big loss, a 2008 type loss, for instance.
That could be devastating, Bill.
Absolutely, for obvious reasons, but also at this stage of your life, your second big job is you want to begin developing a source of dependable, sustainable income that you know how you're going to pay your bills for the rest of your life. And if you have that big loss, you may not have the monies available to set up that source of dependable, sustainable income. So the 2 big jobs that you have, to summarize, is 1, protect what you have. Don't have a big loss. Number 2, begin developing a dependable, sustainable income stream that you can count on for the rest of your life. So you know how you're going to pay your bills, you can keep from running out of money, and you can leave a legacy. That's retiring with confidence. Mike, I know you're going to talk about this in just a moment, but for the next 5 couples who call in today who have at least $500,000 in their retirement portfolio, we're going to do, on a complimentary basis, a full-blown retirement plan for them. We're going to work with them on how to set up a plan so they know how to protect what they have, so they know how to create a dependable, sustainable income stream, and so they know, maybe for the first time ever, have that confidence to know that they have a game plan to move themselves into retirement.
Bill, this is a fantastic opportunity because, folks, nothing can be more frustrating than working hard your entire life, saving as much as possible for retirement, then having no idea how you're going to make your life savings last 20 to 30 years or more. Bill and his team at Geiger Wealth can help. They're going to sit down with you personally to create a full-blown plan for your retirement. Folks, this is up to a $3,000 value. It's complimentary for the next 5 couples who have at least $500,000 saved for retirement. Call 800-681-2498. Again, that's 800-681-2498. Together with you, Bill and his team are going to sit down and translate the complex financial planning process into easy-to-understand steps with a roadmap to help you get to where you need to be. Call Geiger Wealth right now for your complimentary, personalized, full-blown retirement plan. 800-681-2498. That's 800-681-2498.
Geiger Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance offered through DeBlanco Inc.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. I went from being able to work 14, 16 hours a day with no problem to where I could barely walk a block to the store. I went on to the phytonutrients about 6 months ago, and within a couple of months, my medical doctor had cut my prescriptions down in a little bit smaller dosage. The next time I went back a month later, I walked into the doctor's office and he says, "My gosh, what's happened to you? You don't even look like the same person." He looked at my legs and the swelling had gone down. My blood pressure was down. The venous stasis ulcers that I had had on my legs for the last 4 or 5 years because of the poor circulation were all healed, and I'm feeling far better.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560.
The Answer.
Man, I feel like a woman.
Yeah.
Ow!
That's
Terry,
the music they played in as Terry Crews entered to testify before Congress.
No, this is a serious matter, and it was
Oh,
harrowing.
very.
No, it was harrowing testimony. I was I was sucked into this. It was on C-SPAN, and I never watched C-SPAN, but I thought, you know what, I'll give this a try and see what it's like to be a male in Hollywood and have a Me Too moment.
I was very vocal immediately. I was at an event with my wife, and what happened was the person who did this was he was the head of the motion picture department at my own agency. I don't know what was going on in his head. He actually did it twice.
I know what was going on with his
in
hands.
the same night in front of my wife. He says he was drunk. He said he was under.
Does your wife ever touch
he
you
wasn't
like this?
himself. And I immediately, the first reaction was to be violent.
Which you should have been.
And I immediately held back.
Why weren't you? You're a big, powerful man. Why
Ooh,
didn't you?
You big, powerful man, you. Die-fi?
As a black man in America.
Oh, Terry. Come on now.
He's crying. I started crying too.
Say it as it is. I think it's important.
Say it. Come on, Terry.
Okay, why don't you come to my office?
A few shots at success.
Played 6 years in the
You
NFL.
only have a few chances to make yourself a viable member of the community. I'm from Flint, Michigan. I have seen many, many young black men who were provoked into violence, and they were in prison, or they were killed, and they're not here. My wife, for years, prepared me. She said, if you ever get goaded, if you ever get prodded, if you ever have anyone try to push you into any kind of situation, don't do it. Don't be violent. And she trained me. I'll be honest with you. It was the strength of my wife.
And he went on to say that, the studio pretty much told him to hush up. Don't talk about this. It's over. He was drunk. And he said thousands of men have reached out to him saying, oh, my gosh, that's happened to me, too. And the hashtag Me Too. That men have been assaulted and sexually harassed by other men in Hollywood.
Yeah,
Why?
of course. I mean,
It's
Kevin Spacey
disgusting.
was doing it, of course. But, I mean, it's just so overwrought. I mean, Terry Crews. I like Terry Crews in Brooklyn Nine-Nine-Nine. He's actually a pretty good comedic actor. And a former NFL and stuff. I mean, come on.
Not everybody has the bravery to come forward and tell their story.
Come on. What? It's fine, but I mean, just come on. Come on. You know what I'm saying.
What about Diane Feinstein?
Big, strong man, you.
Cut over,
I get my meat hooks around that one.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning
Don't run
Answer.
away from me. I got a bad hip. Terry.
I'm only going to ask you once. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We're going to talk to Steve Moore about Trump's trade tactics and whether or not they're going to precipitate a recession at 7:37.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Is the focus of our poll question this morning on the front page of our website. And we're also getting news this morning from the National Weather Service about a flood warning that has just gone into effect. Observed flooding changed to moderate severity for the Des Plaines River near Lake County after 3 inches of rain fell in the area in the past 24 hours. The entirety of Chicagoland feeling the effects of the severe weather, thunderstorms and damaging winds and flooding rain. And cleanup continues after a tornado, perhaps 2, struck in southwest suburban Manhattan. The House expected to vote on a compromise immigration bill today. The measure crafted by Republicans would keep some immigrant families who entered the country illegally from being separated at the border. Republican South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster will make a run for another term, easily defeating his opponent on a primary Tuesday yesterday.
As President Trump says, we're going to keep on winning in South Carolina. Winning. God bless you. Thank you. God bless America, and God bless South Carolina.
The president yesterday calling the Supreme Court ruling on his controversial travel ban a victory for the Constitution.
We have to make sure that we vet people coming into the country. We know who's coming in. We know where they're coming from.
The justices ruling 5-4 yesterday to uphold the presidential ban on travelers from a half dozen, mostly Muslim, nations. Closing arguments expected today in the wrongful death lawsuit brought by the family of Quintonio LeGrier. Federal prosecutors say 50 members of one of the deadliest street gangs in the state are looking at a wave of charges after a sweeping indictment. Cubs beat the Dodgers 9-4. White Sox double up the Twins 8-4. The news service of Unbound.org. Around the world, there are young people who face a difficult decision. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help support their families in a single moment. You can help them write a news story. See potential, not poverty at Unbound.org. 7:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher sees a win for the Republicans in November if we take some advice.
With this new era of confrontation
that seems justified by a lot of people on the left.
Here's what I'm concerned about. I'll be very blunt. I don't want us to be like them. As long as we're not like them, we're going to beat them where it counts, and that's on November 6th.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Progressive makes it easy to compare quotes and get a great rate with the new Home Quote Explorer, only at Progressive.com.
We're all ready for sunshine, drinks on warm nights with friends, and getting in shape for the summer. Do it all at Riviera Country Club and Sports Center in Orland Park. A 100,000 square foot private facility with affordable fitness and social activities the entire family can enjoy. Keep your workouts fun with 64 aerobic, strength and conditioning, aquatic, and yoga classes, all included with your membership. Work on your jump shot on a full basketball court, your backhand on 2 indoor courts and outdoor clay courts. You can even take a ride on their outdoor water slide and enjoy a few laps in their indoor pools. For mental relaxation, Riviera Country Club and Sports Center offers a men's and women's spa, each with their own sauna, steam room, and whirlpool. Wrap up the day poolside with food and beverages from Gatto's Restaurant and Bar. Call Riviera Country Club and Sports Center now to join, and the first 50 callers get their first month free. Call 708-349-1100 to schedule a tour today. Again, that's 708-349-1100. Riviera Country Club and Sports Center, much more than a health club.
7:36. Let's get an update on your ride to work this morning. In the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. We see southbound tri-state delays from 122 Atkinson, and now it's also heavy from the Adams Tollway to the Bensonville Bridge. Northbound bottled up Cicero to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to Balmoral. But Adams Tollway heavy lead to the tri-state. Reagan Tollway 83 to the tri-state. The northbound Veterans Memorial from I-55 to Roosevelt, and the Army Trail Toll to 290. Aiden's 21 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 26. Kennedy, 47 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 42. Eisenhower's 50 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound an hour and 8 minutes. Crash at St. Charles in the right lane. Stevenson, 54 minutes, 355 to the drive. Ryan, 37 minutes, 95th to the loop. Traffic service of Aruba Tourism, the one happy family on one happy island. Vacation in sunny Aruba with accommodations to fit every family size and budget. Hop a daily non-stop flight from O'Hare to one happy island. Plan your happy escape to Aruba today at Aruba.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Alamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. A humid day ahead, intervals of clouds and sunshine. High near 81, currently 70 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continue next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by On Target Radio. From firearms and Second Amendment rights to personal freedoms and government intrusions. Listen here Sunday nights at 9.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So are you still sticking with Trump and his protectionist brinkmanship on trade after Harley announced that they're going to move some operations overseas to Europe because of the tariffs that have been imposed? So you know how this goes here, action, reaction, right? So Trump imposes tariffs on European steel. Europe imposed tariffs on Harley. Harley moves some production to Europe. And things are escalating. President Xi of China also said he is not going to turn the other cheek when it comes to tariffs and protectionist trade policy.
And it's not just Harley Davidson, the nation's largest producer of nails. Believe it or not, nails says Trump's steel tariffs may force them to close down or move to Mexico. Mid-Continental Nail Plant in Missouri laid off 6 workers last week, and the company says it's on the brink of extinction.
Trump expressing disappointment with Harley's decision, asking them to continue to be patient as they execute this strategy. Also, this report from a German magazine, sources telling this German magazine that Trump told French President Emmanuel Macron
with his wife Bridget nearby.
That Trump, would maintain his trade policy, quote, until no Mercedes models rolled on Fifth Avenue in New York, unquote.
Ooh.
Well, now you've brought me into the fight.
Because
I need my Mercedes.
Yeah.
I need my Mercedes imports. For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by Chief Economist for CNN, Wall Street Journal columnist, CNN. Steve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hi, guys. Good morning.
Good morning. So how is this trade brinkmanship going for us? I know the Dow's off 13% since it started.
Well, look, the financial markets don't like trade wars, and so that's not too surprising. I happen to think that Harley Davidson made one of the worst, business decisions this is going to go down in corporate annals, one of the worst decisions. I mean, this is like New Coke. They're going to, when I used to go to the Trump rallies, it would be typically 500 Harley Davidsons, parked on the side of the venue or the stadium or wherever the event was. Trump totally dominated the biker vote. Now, why is that important? Because they may gain more customers in Europe if they move a facility over there, but they're going to lose. They are going to lose a lot of their American customers, and their stock is way down. Now, look,
but it's $2,200 more a bike, so they had no choice.
Well,
and I thought they're moving some of its production to Thailand.
You guys are burying the lead here, with all due respect. Trump is going to win here. Trump always wins. So, these Europeans, I was listening to you guys talk about how, the Chinese and the Germans are saying, we're not going to put up with these protectionist policies. That's all they've imposed on us for the last 20 years. I mean, we didn't start this fire. They did. They have much higher tariffs on our goods than we do on theirs. All Trump wants is reciprocity. He wants a level playing field with the Europeans and especially with China and Japan. And we don't have a level playing field today.
So you don't think there's a chance that Trump's going to back down on his tariffs if U.S. companies continue to complain?
I think that what's going to first of all, we cannot cave into blackmail tactics of the Europeans and the Chinese. That would be catastrophically bad for the United States. We can't cave in now. They're the ones who are going to have to cave in, and they're going to have to level the playing field. And look, my buddy Larry Kudlow 2 weeks ago in Canada at the G7 meeting put a zero tariff option on the table. Why don't we all reduce our tariffs to zero? And the Europeans and the Japanese practically had a heart attack over that notion. They don't want zero tariffs. They want high tariffs on our goods and services, but they want us to open up our market to their products. And frankly, that just doesn't work for us anymore.
Well,
Right?
I mean, it doesn't work for us anymore because that's not Trump's position and the position of some that are.
Well, not just Trump, Dan. I mean, this was a very, very popular position with American voters across the Midwest who believe that the trade situation with China and these other countries is costing America high-paid jobs. Now, look, my position. I'm going over to the White House to talk to the Kudlow and a bunch of the economists over there today. Look, my position is keep making the American economy more competitive with tax cuts, deregulation, all these other things. We're going to suck capital from the rest of the world. We're going to beat these other countries. So you guys know I'm not a big fan of the steel tariffs. I think the auto tariffs, the idea that you can't roll a BMW down Fifth Avenue, I mean, that's crazy. And by the way, half of the BMWs aren't even made in Germany.
Well, I know.
They're made here.
Well, that's the craziness of all of this sort of globalization demagoguery too, particularly as it pertains to trade. And I don't care if it's popular or unpopular. Economics is not based on majority opinion. It's based on the iron laws of economics, and one of them is it pays to be preemptorily free trade, as you know.
Okay. So Dan, I want to basically challenge you and Amy this morning. Are you just in favor of unilateral free trade? We just open up our markets, regardless of what the other nations do.
Well, I like Governor Scott Walker's idea. He wants to end all tariffs. His idea is to end all tariffs.
Well, that's what Donald Trump has put on the table.
Yeah,
I mean, look,
you can't end all tariffs unilaterally. I mean, I understand what Kudlow.
Well, I mean, by the way, Dan, Milton Friedman was in favor of unilateral free trade.
Well, I know, so am I. Yeah, so am I.
But I'm just saying I don't think it's going to work. And I do think in the end, here's why I think you can tell I'm getting indigestion this morning because you guys are going wobbly on me.
No, no.
Trump is going to win here. We just have to stick it out. Look, let's look at China for a minute because China is the big villain here. And if I have a problem with Trump's trade strategy, I think he made a big mistake in not isolating China as the problem child. And they are the problem child. But China is they're cheating, they're stealing, they're building their military. They're laughing right behind our back as we continue to open our market to them. I talk to business women and men all the time who say it's just almost impossible to penetrate the Chinese market. Some people from Apple came over to Heritage the other day. They said there's 150 Apple stores over in China. Only 3 of them are actually owned by Apple. The rest are just phony baloney. They put the Apple insignia in front of the store. That's just cheating, stealing. We can't. Why do we put up with that?
Well, I agree with the why do we put up with that, and we shouldn't put up with piracy of our technology and appropriation of intellectual property. I agree with that. But in terms of the fundamental question, does it pay to be unilaterally free trade in terms of economic vitality? It absolutely does. We know this. We know mercantilism doesn't work except for those that are the beneficiaries of their rent-seeking behavior. You don't want government in that business, so we don't want government in that business. And here's my real problem is I know what Larry Kudlow's play is, what he says the play is, which is ultimately this is a game of poker to get to a lower tariff environment across the board.
I totally agree with that.
Well, if that's really the play, but from Trump, I don't get that that's really the play. I get that he sees trade as a zero-sum and this trade war is a zero-sum game, and he's willing to push us into recession to pursue this policy. That's the feeling I'm starting to get.
I can't. I've talked to Trump many times about this, and there's some truth to what you just said, Dan. I mean, he doesn't totally get the trade. He understands that when 2 people or 2 countries trade together, they both benefit. But he does view it a bit as, if they sell more to us than we sell to them, then we're a loser. And I think he's way over obsessed with the trade deficit figure because the trade deficit doesn't matter. I mean, our trade deficit is going to go up this year because our economy is so healthy. Americans are buying stuff because they're getting, they've got jobs, they're getting raises, all of that stuff. So, I mean, look, there's some truth to what you're saying, but ultimately, I do believe he understands that if he can get this done, and he can get the Europeans and China to open up their markets to more American products and reduce their trade barriers. You know, you talked about the 11% decline in the Dow. The Dow is going to go up 50% if he can achieve that. I mean, the goal, and that's why I don't want people to go wobbly. I'm pissed off at companies like Harley-Davidson. Let's stick with the program. If these other countries need access to the United States more than we need access to them, you think we're going to have to lay off workers? They're going to have to lay off a huge amount of their workforce if they can't trade with the United States.
Well, do you know about Mid-Continental Nail Plant in Missouri?
No, tell me about it.
Well, no, they've just laid off 6 workers, and they said they're at the brink of extinction.
Oh, I just heard you talking about that.
Right. Yeah.
Look, that's why steel tariffs are stupid. I mean, you guys remember, 3-4 weeks ago we had this discussion. You asked me what I thought about the steel tariffs, and I said this is stupid because for every steel worker we have 10 workers, 50 workers who use steel, and this is a perfect example of what we talked about before. That's why the steel and the auto tariffs are dumb. I mean, I was just in the South. I've been in South Carolina, Texas. I was in Alabama. All you see in those states is BMW plants. There's a Saturn plant. There's a Toyota plant. I mean, the whole idea of where these companies cars are made is hard to figure out these days.
Well, and in your recent piece in that I read, at least in Investors Business Daily, the state of the American worker has never been better. You point out the optimism of like the National Association of Manufacturers who are meet with Trump this week. And but that optimism can go away. And I know we're projecting 3 and 4% GDP growth, but we also have sort of worker wages, worker productivity stagnation, and wages just starting to creep up a little bit, but in an increasingly higher interest rate environment. So this is all very tenuous, and so
it is.
He's got to thread the needle just so, and so there are questions that should be asked of him, challenges that should be made.
Well, I agree. I mean, I think you summarized it very well, that this is a high-risk game of poker, and I think that metaphor works. You know, this is a game of poker, and if Trump can win, it'll be a huge victory. If he blinks here and backs down, I think the longer-term implications of that for America's economic and national security are weakened. So, but Trump, I do believe, ultimately wants to get – he loves a booming stock market. He loves a strong economy. And I think it's going to give him a little bit of pause when he sees, for example, what Amy just mentioned, that American companies are having to lay off workers because of these tariffs. That's exactly the opposite result of what he wants to see.
Well, and one of the points that was made on Varney yesterday, too, is looking at the 10-year to 2-year T-bill yield spread. And when that inverts, that's been like a canary in the coal mine for 60 years in terms of a recession not far behind. And, that spread is nearing inversion. And so some of these leading economic indicators should perhaps be monitored and taken seriously.
Yeah, but look, I mean, I'm really bullish on the U.S. economy. I mean, you were going to get 5% growth for the second quarter or close to that. You look at the Capital X, investment spending by businesses, it's really good. I mean, those manufacturing numbers. Now, look, you're right. A lot of that can turn on a dime. But, for right now, that's the other thing that's so interesting is, the Wall Street Journal headline last week was U.S. economy is the envy of the world. We're growing faster than just about any other country. Europe is only growing less than 1%. We're at 4.5%. So maybe they should be following our lead rather than the reverse.
Well, there's no question, but we don't want to follow their descent. Is that the concern? All right, he is Steve.
Okay, but Dan and Amy, do not go wobbly on me.
No, I love the word wobbly.
All right.
Okay, I won't become a weeble wobble.
We're weebles. We wobble, but we don't fall down.
Okay. Hi, guys.
Steve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Deb, I'm so done with today. Traffic was awful. I couldn't stop for coffee. I have conference calls all morning, plus all these reports to go through. And look, it's 75 and sunny, and I'm stuck in here.
Relax. It's going to be an awesome day. Corporate is throwing a picnic in the parking lot for lunch, and they ordered Tasty Catering.
What? Did I miss the memo?
Apparently. It's going to be great. They got burgers, grilled chicken, sides, the works. You know, Tasty Catering's picnic food is excellent.
Oh, yeah, I know. We had them for our holiday party.
Today, they're bringing out the Make Your Own Burger Creation Station. They have everything you can think of, like sriracha, blue cheese crumbles, bacon, sautéed mushrooms, and caramelized onions. And they serve it straight off the grill, the way a great burger should be.
Okay, maybe there's still hope for today. I just hope I don't spill mustard on this new tie. Good thing I've got my bib.
You have a bib?
You don't?
Tasty Catering's picnic menu has all the delicious summertime food favorites you crave and more. Go to tastycatering.com to peruse mouth-watering picnic menus and start planning your picnic today. tastycatering.com.
Gentlemen, excuse me, June is Men's Health Month. Do you know your numbers? You may know your blood pressure and cholesterol, but do you know your testosterone and prostate numbers?
Happy June, or Happy Men's Health Month. Did
Thank
you get
you.
the card?
My prostate thanks you. I know my numbers because I went to Low T Center. They made it quick and easy. You know your results in about 20 minutes. At Low T Center, most health insurance is accepted. They'll even verify your insurance for you. Low T Center physicians have been exclusively diagnosing and treating men for low testosterone for years. And in honor of Men's Health Month, Low T Center is offering a special testosterone and prostate level test for just $50. Take advantage of this offer, especially if you haven't met your deductible yet, or you have a high copay, or simply don't have insurance. If you've noticed a decline in energy or motivation, you may have low testosterone. Low T makes you feel tired and grumpy, can raise your cholesterol, cause weight gain. Low T's experienced medical staff will educate you on the benefits and risks of testosterone replacement. So do what I did. Get your numbers checked. You owe it to yourself to call 312-239-3427. Tell them Dan Prof sent you. That's 312-239-3427. Call 312-239-3427 in honor of Men's Health Month, or go to lowtcenter.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I'm Mark Gastineau. I played in the NFL for 10 years. I was diagnosed with CTE, with dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's. The fruits and vegetables that we take from Balance of Nature is the best thing that we could ever do. And I'm calling in now to order extra because my wife has been taking mine because she sees a difference in me. It is a wonderful thing that Balance of Nature is doing. I hear the testimonies on the radio, but I'm a testimony for myself. And the fruits and vegetables, if I don't take them every single day, my day is not going to go the same. So God bless you, and thank you for what you've done for my wife and I.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. I don't think Plato had former CIA Director General Michael Hayden's tweet comparing Trump immigration policy to the Birkenau death camp at Auschwitz in mind when he conceived of the Noble Lie. Nor would Plato likely place under the Noble Lie header the D.C. Press Corps' magical storytelling about a 2-year-old Time magazine cover girl who was separated from her father in Honduras by her mother, but never separated from her mother by Border Patrol or anyone named Trump, not even Peter Fonda's nemesis Barron. The lies told by elites these days are intended to foment social unrest, not cohesion. The ignoble truth is that today's elites cover their tracks by feeding the public supersized whoppers to stunt their appetites for edifying information and dull their attention spans. Never mind that the fix was in at FBI. See Trump's criticism of Comey as a veiled predicate to martial law. Never mind that family separation was not new policy at the border and that only the enforcement of it was new. Instead, understand this as an existential battle not for border security, but against bigotry. In other news, Paul Manafort has pled guilty to a violent crime for which he was not charged. ABC News reports. Hey, Chicagoland, Dan Proft here, and I'm here with my guy Ryan Kelly at thehomeloanexpert.com. He's one of us, and he just gets it. Ryan, great to talk to you again. Look, obviously home prices are going up and homes are moving fast. Somebody's looking to sell their home in the Chicagoland area. What do they do?
Well, if you're looking to sell your house, I tell you, just make up a price and put a for sale by owner sign out in the front yard, and you should have no problem selling that house. There's just not enough inventory. There's more buyers out there than there are sellers. But if you're thinking about buying a house, that's where you really better be on your A game. You better be pre-approved and pre-approved by a strong mortgage lender. At the Home Loan Expert Office, when we pre-approve you to buy a house, we go over your credit with you. We go over interest rates, payments, give you a good idea of what you should be looking for and what your price points are. And then we pre-approve you on a gold piece of paper. Literally, our pre-approvals are written on gold. and we send those to the agents, they know that you're ready to buy. Don't miss the house of your dreams. Get pre-approved today at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Dave Geiselhart, president and owner of Home Trust Mortgage and customer of Signature Bank. When the large banks turned away from the mortgage lending industry during the financial crisis, I turned to locally owned Signature Bank. Signature Bank stepped in and helped me expand our business at a time when the larger banks wouldn't. Today, I'm proud to say Home Trust Mortgage has been able to expand our business in Illinois and the Great Lakes region. We couldn't have done that without the help of Signature Bank. Signature Bank truly helps Chicago businesses like mine grow and thrive. That's why we also became personal customers and shareholders of Signature Bank, Chicago's business bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Message and data rates may apply. Texting enrolls for recurring text messages. Nice game. Man, you're really playing hard today.
Yeah, shows what a great night's sleep will do. You know, since I started using Z-Quiet for my snoring, there's no more waking up getting elbowed and no more moving to the couch in the middle of the night. You know, for the first time in years, the snoring's gone, and my wife and I both wake up feeling great. It's amazing, so easy to use, and it worked the very first night.
I'm Dan Webster, co-founder of Z-Quiet. For years, I was off my game due to snoring. My wife Trina and I were desperate for a solution, and we found it with Z-Quiet. There's nothing better than waking up feeling rested, happy, and best of all, in the same bed. So if you're ready to score extra points in the bedroom, get Z-Quiet.
Z-Quiet fits both men and women, and right now you can try it risk-free for a full 30 days for just $9.95. Just text SLEEP to 246810 or go to getzquiet.com. Text SLEEP to 246810 or go to getzquiet.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Is the left just getting started with targeting those with whom they disagree? We'll discuss with Noah Rothman from Commentary Magazine at 8:08.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Severe weather hit Chicagoland, closing arguments today in the LeGrier lawsuit. Cubs bounce the Dodgers while the White Sox double up the Twins. A humid and hot day ahead. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
A police officer who's been under protest, now under arrest. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Those demonstrations have gone on for a week in East Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, after a teenage boy was shot and killed running from a traffic stop. Fox's Tanya J. Powers has more live.
East Pittsburgh police officer Michael Rosfeld is charged with criminal homicide in the death of 17-year-old Antoine Rose Jr., who was black. Rosfeld, who had just been sworn in about an hour and a half before the incident, is accused of shooting Rose 3 times in the back as Rose ran away from a car that had been pulled over and was suspected to have been involved in a different shooting. No weapon was found on Rose, but he did have an empty gun clip in his pocket, Dave.
Tanya, federal judges ordered the Trump administration to reunite families separated at the border within 30 days. Kids 5 and under should be given back to parents in 14 days. The judge also ordered an end to separating families, though an executive order did stop that last week. President Trump just tweeted, "The House should today pass a strong and fair immigration bill."
Clearly, we haven't been able as Republicans to get an agreement on how best to do this.
Congressman Steve Scalise unsure if there are enough votes. There's no Democrat support. One of the top Democrats in the House voted out of Congress. Joe Crowley was upset in his New York City district by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, a 28-year-old socialist Democrat.
I cannot believe these numbers right now, but I do know that every single person here has worked their butt off.
She's the first Democratic challenger to defeat an incumbent congressman in this year's primaries. National Security Advisor John Bolton is in Moscow, meeting with President Putin, trying to work out a possible summit with President Trump at a time when our relations with Russia are strained.
There have been sanctions. We've expelled Russians from this country, Russian officials from this country, obviously not once but twice.
Counselor to the president, Kellyanne Conway. Of course, the Trump campaign's ties to Russia are still being investigated by the special counsel in what the president calls a witch hunt. This is Fox News, fair and balanced.
Cloudy skies in Chicago. 70 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott. Observed flooding Changed to moderately severe for the Des Plaines River this morning near Gurnee. 3 inches of rain fell in that area over the past 24 hours. The entirety of Chicagoland feeling the effects of the overnight severe weather. Thunderstorms with damaging winds caused flooding in the area. Cleanup is also underway after a tornado struck southwest suburban Manhattan. Closing arguments are expected to be expected in the case of a wrongful death lawsuit brought by the family of Quintonio LeGrier. Trial continues for a former lawyer accused of murdering his wife in 1973. Donnie Rudd is charged with the beating of his wife before staging her death to look like a car accident in Barrington Township. A Brazilian mother is fighting to be reunited with her 9-year-old son, being held at a Chicago-based nonprofit. Lydia Souza's attorney made the plea yesterday.
We just want the 9-year-old child back in his mother's arms.
Souza was separated from her son Diogo at the Mexican border last month while trying to seek asylum. Cubs over the Dodgers 9-4, while the White Sox doubled up the Twins 8-4. It's 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network, here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, there's a major food merger. ConAgra, the parent company of Hunt's, Marie Callender's, and Reddi-wip, is buying Pinnacle Foods, which includes Duncan Hines, Mrs. Paul's, and Birdseye. ConAgra will pay $10.9 billion in cash and stock. Amazon is expanding its Whole Foods delivery for Prime members. The service is now available in Chicago, Houston, Indianapolis, Minneapolis, and San Antonio. Amazon says it's delivering between 8 a.m. and 10 p.m., and there's no delivery charge if you order at least $35. Facebook is scrapping its Aquila program, which was supposed to use high-altitude drones to provide internet coverage. Instead, Facebook will work on other technology to improve access to those who don't have it. The Dow was up 30 yesterday. The Nasdaq added 29. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
It's become a summer tradition. Rockin' for the Troops returns this summer on July 14th at Northwestern Medicine Field in Geneva, home of the Kane County Cougars. Don't miss this year's lineup featuring Seventh Heaven, Ayla Brown, Rocky Lynn, The Voices, and Ryan Weaver. Proceeds will benefit Operation Support Our Troops America. Get your tickets today at rockinforthetroops.org. That's rockinforthetroops.org.
When posting on most job sites, you get candidates.
I'm the sales director.
I'm the
sales director
you're looking for. But when you post on Indeed.com, you get the candidates just right for you.
I'm a sales director with an MBA, over 10 years experience, who's also fluent in Japanese.
With Indeed, you can add screener questions for a less time-consuming route to your short list of qualified candidates.
Arigato.
Hiring's better when you've got your short list. Save time on hiring when you post a job on Indeed. Get started today at Indeed.com/hire.
You don't remember days, you remember moments. But when the old tapes and photos that hold your cherished memories degrade, or worse, you lose them, they're gone forever. Hi, I'm Nick Mako.
And I'm Adam Baselogger. We started Legacy Box to help you preserve those irreplaceable moments.
Load your Legacy Box with your old tapes, film, pictures, and audio, and send them in. You'll get them back on DVD or a convenient thumb drive.
Visit legacybox.com/USA, and for a limited time, you'll get 40% off your order. legacybox.com/USA.
8:06. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. In Hampshire, 72 is closed between State and Big Timber due to flooding. Round Lake Monaville blocked. 83 to Silver Oaks got a stalled train. Edens is 19 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, but outbound 39. Kennedy inbound delay started Foster, 47 minutes. So here to downtown, much heavier in the Express. Outbound 48 minutes to the airport. Eisenhower, an hour 390 to downtown. Outbound an hour 18 after a crash at St. Charles. Stevenson, an hour and 4 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 42 minutes. Reliant, 38 minutes, 95 to downtown. Tri-State southbound slow 132 to 176. The Adams Tollway to the Bensonville Bridge. Northbound jam, Cicero to 31st. After the Reagan Tollway to Balmoral. Veterans Memorial southbound slow from the Army Trail toll to Roosevelt. Northbound I-55 to Roosevelt. The Army Trail toll to 290, 53 southbound. Really heavy Dundee to Kirkjob. craft service of Aruba Tourism. Imagine if your daily commute from your beach chair right to the crystal blue Caribbean Sea. It's time for an escape to sunny Aruba. Hop a daily nonstop flight from O'Hare to one happy island. Plan your Aruba vacation today at Aruba.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center with meteorologist Alex Rabb.
For today, we're humid with clouds and sun and a high of 80. A moonlit sky for tonight while we're humid and a low of 68. Tomorrow's humid with sunshine and patchy clouds and a high of 88. I'm Alexandra Rabb on AM 560, The Answer.
70 at O'Hare, 69 along the lakefront. Next news at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And Zachary Wood is a recent graduate of Williams College, rose to some renown last year when he testified before Congress about free speech on campus. He was part of a group, the president of a group called Uncomfortable Learning on campus, which would bring in controversial speakers. And that put him at odds with the university president, Williams College president. But in the same camp as Bill Bennett, Williams College grad, even though Zach identifies as a liberal Democrat. Here's some of his testimony before Congress from last year. We played it at the time, but refreshing your recollection.
I identify as a liberal Democrat who supports many progressive causes. Yet I adamantly believe that students should be encouraged to engage with people and ideas that they vehemently disagree with. As president of Uncomfortable Learning at Williams, I strive to broaden the range of political discourse on campus by inviting speakers with challenging, provocative, and out of the mainstream views on pressing issues of our time.
Well, boy, this is a difficult environment for Zach, who identifies as a liberal Democrat, with the position, it seems, of the left. And he's got a book out about his life, including his time at Williams. He's on to his career now. He's going to be working for The Atlantic. Sat down. It's the this week's issue of edition of Against the Current features Zach Wood. We had about an hour-long conversation. Really good conversation, if I do say so myself. Really good dialogue because he's a very smart young man, and it was a lot of fun, so you should check that out. We'll get into much more depth than we'll be able to get into here. But with that, we're pleased to be joined by Zach Wood. Again, the book, Uncensored, My Life in Uncomfortable Conversations at the Intersections of Black and White America. Zach, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Dan, great to be with you again.
So, what about that? You've seen what's happened since we had the opportunity to sit down with some of the pronouncements from Maxine Waters, what happened with Sarah Sanders, the sort of tone and tenor of political discourse and how disagreement is handled. How do you react to what's happened over the last few days?
I would say I'm not surprised by it, but I am a bit dismayed by it. Even if you look at the president's tweet about Maxine Waters, I don't think this is the way that our political leaders should be handling their disagreements. I think it detracts from efforts to really build understanding, to really engage, and to clarify what differences are.
So
the differences are.
Do you think President Trump's responsible for this, uncivilized behavior that's happening?
Yes, I do. In large part, I think he's very responsible in that if you look at a lot of his messaging via Twitter, I don't think he is bringing people to the table. I think he's riling people up. I think he's saying things in ways that kind of reflect an insensitivity that I think it's very important for a president to try to demonstrate.
So there was this piece in splinternews.com by this guy, Hamilton Nolan. He's a socialist, like that young lady who just got effectively elected to Congress in New York, self-identifies as a socialist. He says this is all going to get more extreme. I'm reading his words.
Okay.
And it should. We live in extreme times. He said the U.S. had thousands of domestic bombings per year in the early 70s. That's what happens when citizens decide en masse that their political system is corrupt, racist, and unresponsive. The people out of power have only just begun to flex their dissatisfaction. Referencing the Weathermen from the 70s and domestic terrorism, is that healthy?
No, I mean, I don't. The fact that he's saying he thinks things are going to get worse and become more extreme, I understand that conjecture. I don't. I'm not so sure I would disagree with that. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he's wrong. I hope things get better. But I do think perhaps the analogy, the example there might be a little imprecise.
What about all of the call for Maxine Waters and what we've seen play out with just yesterday with Mitch McConnell and Elaine Chao? Do you agree with the idea of seeking out Trump officials and
cabinet members
and anybody that's ever uttered the word Trump with something other than disdain and publicly shaming them? What do you think of the so-called shame mobsters?
I don't. I have a lot of respect for Maxine Waters, but I do not. I don't believe in public shaming. I think that interrogating this is important, and I think it's important for people to not assume that they understand why those who support Donald Trump, that they understand why without actually looking first or talking to someone first. There are a range of reasons to support any political figure or candidate, to support any president. So I think I'd say we should be careful about how we go about doing that. But no, I don't support public shaming, but I do support interrogating the issues at hand.
Well, sure.
But that's not interrogating. I mean, to bother someone while they're at, Kristen Nielsen, she was at a Mexican restaurant, just trying to have dinner, and they're shouting at her. And Maxine Waters, I mean, she was chastised by Chuck Schumer for what she'd said and by Nancy Pelosi. So
no, I think it's out of pocket. I don't think that has a place or should have a place in our political sphere. I think we should put pressure on the president, and I think we should try to understand those who support him, especially those who disagree with him. But no, I don't support public shaming of that kind at all.
I'm not surprised to hear you say that. But I'm not going to assume I know why. Why do you respect, or you say you have a lot of respect for Maxine Waters? Why is that?
For me, it is because she has put first throughout her political career issues that are facing minorities, issues that are facing women. From inequality, social mobility, economic opportunity, ways of increasing diversity using various mechanisms of our governmental institutions. That's a priority for her, and I respect that. And even when I disagree with her on issues, I respect that commitment that she's demonstrated ethically to those issues.
Are you, as someone who is of the left, as you say, but is committed to free speech and kind of intellectual pluralism, are you concerned when you see the ACLU reform or denigrate, one could argue, their guidelines on free speech by saying that speech that denigrates such groups can inflict marginalized groups can inflict serious harms and is intended to and often will impede progress towards equality? They're sort of starting to couch their position on free speech within the context of the college campus, so to speak, and so that they seem more open-minded to constricting speech that offends, which of course has a chilling effect on speech in general.
Yeah, no, I do. I have some misgivings about that, some qualms. I understand what they're trying to do. I think that it's indelicately formulated. I think they've got to rethink it. And I'm not pleased with the fact that I see how that one of the implications could certainly be that it has a chilling effect and really deters certain kinds of speech. So, if for them to make a statement that speech can have effects, that speech can make people feel certain emotions that may be difficult to cope with, that's a conversation we should have. But in terms of restricting it, that's where I part company.
All right. So in your new book, Uncensored, you talk about your upbringing and how you became a crusader. Can you give us a little tease or so that we
of course.
go by the book?
Sure. So one big thing was that, I started going to private schools when I was in fourth grade. And, I lived in a disadvantaged community. And because I was going to a private school, the overwhelming majority of my peers came from more affluent backgrounds. They were white. I was black. I was one of 2 or 3 black students in my grade at the time. And so it really, for me, I think this kind of phrase is overused, but it was in some sense a bit of a culture shock. And so I had to be open to learning from them, in forging relationships with them. I had to really try to get a sense of how they saw things. There were various assumptions and preconceived notions about race that they held. And again, this is fourth grade, right? So all of this is based upon conversations at the dinner table and what you hear from your parents. But I had to really be open to trying to understand them. And that, for me, was an early step in kind of cultivating a greater sense of empathy and really just building an interest in understanding people.
He is Zach Wood. He's the author of Uncensored, My Life and Uncomfortable Conversations at the Intersection of Black and White in America. Zach, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
And he joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up next, another black eye for Chicago as there's a hammer fight in a McDonald's. We'll tell you what happened.
Can't touch this.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Stop. Hammer time. But first, here's your forecast. Sunshine, but some high clouds as well. It's humid out there, a high of 81 today. Tonight, patchy clouds and humid, a low of 68. And for Thursday, it's going to get pretty hot around here. We're going to have plenty of sunshine, some high clouds, and warmer, a high near 90 degrees. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. And Dan, Eisenhower outbound really jammed central to St. Charles. The crash is cleared, but it's an hour and 18 minutes. Downtown to 390 in about an hour and 38 minutes from Manheim to downtown. Eden's fine inbound, but outbound 39 minutes to Lake Cook. Heavy till you get past Lake Avenue. Kennedy, 47 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 32 from Montrose, but 40 in the Express. Outbound 48 minutes to O'Hare. Stevenson, an hour and 4 minutes, 3:55 to the drive. Outbound 42 minutes. Ryan, 38 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Tri-State heavy 132 to 176. That's from the Adams Tollway to the Bensonville Bridge. Northbound really heavy, 111th, 31st, and Cermak to Balmoral. Veterans Memorial southbound slow. The Army Trail toll to Roosevelt. Northbound I-55 to Roosevelt. And from the Army Trail toll to 290. Delays on 53. Northbound Adams Tollway to Kirchhoff. Southbound Dundee to Kirchhoff. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Do you want your basement to be dry most of the time? If so, Permaseal is not the company for you. At Permaseal, we believe your basement should be dry all the time, no matter how hard it rains. Hi, I'm Roy Spencer, president of Permaseal. I hear story after story of homeowners who say their basement only leaks when it rains. Well, you don't worry about your living room or bedroom getting wet when it rains, and you should feel the same way about your basement. Just call 800-421-SEAL. We offer a free estimate, no haggle pricing, and a price assurance guarantee, so you can rest assured that you're getting the best value. Your basement is already dry most of the time, but if you want your basement dry all the time, you know who to call. 800-421-SEAL. Permaseal has earned an A+ rating from the BBB and has received their 2016 Torch Award for Marketplace Ethics. That's 800-421-SEAL or visit permaseal.net.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule. Thousands of doctors, health specialists, and professionals recommend Balance of Nature as a way of improving their health. Listen to a few unsolicited success stories from doctors that use Balance of Nature as well.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. I take Balance of Nature because I know, I've seen it in my lab, and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
When you're insured by Mag Mutual, you get more than just medical professional liability protection. You get partnership. They're your partner when it comes to safeguarding patients, physicians, and healthcare teams. Everything they do is focused on protecting and supporting you in the practice of medicine. From helping you save money to mitigating your risk, they are your single source for customized service and support. Their promise to protect includes comprehensive insurance solutions for the practice, business, and regulation of medicine, from expert guidance to an extensive resource library and complimentary access to up-to-date. They're committed to creating a plan specifically for you, ensuring your continued success. You can stay focused on your patients, knowing Mag Mutual is your partner. Visit them on the web at magmutual.com.
For more information about Mag Mutual in Illinois, please contact Andy Baskell at the Horton Group at 708-473-2518 or by email at andy.baskell@thehortongroup.com. Visit their website at thehortongroup.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Hammer time.
There's such a bad time in music there.
Of course, yeah. Let me tell you,
That's a good
somebody
look.
who was too legit to quit. Her name is Hannah Walker, 36 years old. She was arrested around 9:30 p.m. on Monday night after police responded to calls to the McDonald's at the corner of State in Chicago. Calls of a melee involving mops and a hammer inside the restaurant.
Well, the 36-year-old thought that this 16-year-old girl cut in line, and so she pulled out a handyman hammer out of her purse.
Because you ladies always keep a hammer in the purse.
Always, always. And then chaos ensued. The security guard's trying to stop this.
So that's going on, and you have, so she's swinging a hammer, then some other chick grabs
A broom.
like a
A mop.
broom, and she swings it at the security guard.
Yeah, and then another person grabs a chair and is swinging it toward the security guard. Police finally, well, they had to be called because security guard was way outnumbered. And they found
He's like it's
he's a big dude.
He's like he backs himself into a corner so nobody can get behind him, and he's like taking on all comers. There's like a semicircle of people around him. It looks like the lineup an airplane with that hysterical woman. Somebody's got a wrench, somebody's got a hammer.
It is so embarrassing. And when police arrived, they found this 36-year-old lady behind the counter. She had made her way behind the counter, still holding the hammer. I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you, sucker. Remember that movie?
Do you know the Hard Rock McDonald's that's being
Yes.
rebuilt?
Yes, thank goodness.
Do you know that it's this is going to be a bit of a shock to the $15 an hour fair wage demanding crowd?
Yeah.
It's going to be almost totally robotic.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, like the one at Wrigley Field that they replaced and they put in the Zachary Hotel. It's all tablets.
And so perhaps this is
Well, all right, so-
another good reason in terms of the economics of it. The other reason is hammer time over here.
The 16-year-old girl, thank goodness
Hammer!
she's okay. She was grateful because the hammer, if it hit her, it was right above her right eye, and it could have hit her in the eye, and then her eyeball could have fallen out, and she could be blind.
Yeah.
Just like that basketball player that got elbowed, and then the eyeball fell out. And he put it back in.
It popped out, but he
Okay.
popped it back in.
Okay, gross. All right, here's the victim.
She just got loud, yelling, bumping us, doing all types of stuff. She pulled out her hammer, and yes,
And
like
she said,
a
"You can't touch
handyman
this."
hammer.
Do, do,
I
do,
just
do,
blanked
do,
out
do,
a little bit,
do.
and then I went to the hospital.
I mean, her grandma picked her up and said, thank goodness she's okay. There was blood everywhere. It was disgusting. It's hammer time. Hammer time.
I think I'm going to wear my hammer pants tomorrow. This is fun. This is a fun time period.
Oh, hammer time. So, we just did the song, or the story to play the song.
Started out as a bad boy for the Oakland A's.
Did he?
Yeah, he's an O-Town guy. All right, you're scaring the dog. Or is that you barking?
I start singing and animals cry.
It's truly. You're making noises only he can hear. Alderman Brian Hopkins, that's his award, congratulations, tweeted overnight, recently posted video completely contradicts the victim story. It shows Walker cowering defensively in a corner, attempting to take cover behind a security guard, while Ware and her friends are the aggressors. So he's saying that the broom girl was the aggressor to the hammer girl.
Then who's
if you're
the chair
scoring
guy?
at home.
Who's the chair guy?
Yeah, I guess that's a friend. The chair guy is a friend of the mop girl. All right. Now, first of all, Alderman Hopkins, that's not what this video shows, number one. But it is a way to justify the fact that the Hammer girl was originally arrested for felony aggravated assault, which you would think, felony aggravated battery, actually, which you would think would be appropriate, because if you try to hit somebody with a hammer, that's against the law still.
Right. Even if it's a handyman hammer that can fit in your purse, ladies. Come on, be responsible.
Her charges were downgraded to misdemeanor battery.
Oh.
Because you know why?
Why?
Because we don't. Chicago now, I don't know if you know this, Chicago, we don't lock people up anymore. We're releasing the people that are left in prison, and we don't lock people up. This is why you have, 8, 10, 12, 15, 40-time losers roaming the streets, swinging hammers at people when they're not opening fire.
Stop the hammering. Stop the hammering out there. Who's got a hammer? Where is it? Where's the hammer?
Miss Walker does.
Is it on the? Go up on the other floor. Somebody go up there and stop the hammering.
You don't get Miss
Stop
Walker mad.
the hammering.
This is my favorite.
I'll go down to the floor myself and stop it. Keep
She's going to kick the
commercial
snot out of
break
you.
going.
I wouldn't touch her.
Call Phil Griffin. I don't care who the you have to call. Stop the hammering.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
We're all ready for sunshine, drinks on warm nights with friends, and getting in shape for the summer. Do it all at Riviera Country Club and Sports Center in Orland Park. A 100,000 square foot private facility with affordable fitness and social activities the entire family can enjoy. Keep your workouts fun with 64 aerobic, strength and conditioning, aquatic, and yoga classes, all included with your membership. Work on your jump shot on a full basketball court, your backhand on 2 indoor courts and outdoor clay courts. You can even take a ride on their outdoor water slide and enjoy a few laps in their indoor pools. For mental relaxation, Riviera Country Club and Sports Center offers a men's and women's spa, each with their own sauna, steam room, and whirlpool. Wrap up the day poolside with food and beverages from Gatto's Restaurant and Bar. Call Riviera Country Club and Sports Center now to join, and the first 50 callers get their first month free. Call 708-349-1100 to schedule a tour today. Again, that's 708-349-1100. Riviera Country Club and Sports Center, much more than a health club.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Who is Joe Donnelly really working for? As a U.S. Senator, we pay him $174,000 a year. So, Donnelly's taxpayer-funded salary is almost 3 times more than a typical Hoosier family makes. But that wasn't enough for Donnelly. Donnelly took more. His family business got caught outsourcing jobs to Mexico. Mexico Joe profited up to $80,000. And a past safety inspection of Donnelly's family business found serious safety violations that put its Hoosier workers in danger. A 6-figure taxpayer-funded salary. His family's business caught outsourcing jobs to Mexico, risking American jobs. Mexico Joe Donnelly profits with tens of thousands. Vote no on Mexico Joe. He's just not working for Indiana. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
AM 560 The Answer.
Text from text from Andy Davis says bowling ball regarding this McDonald's melee with the hammer and the mop and the chair. That's
the Jerry Springer show.
This is why I always carry a trident. Yeah, you should at least have a trident if you're going to walk around the city. I like the idea of going, medieval and/or just using whatever's around you rather than opening a fire. I think it's
everybody has to watch this video.
It's more fair. It's more personal too.
A trident. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk to Noah Rothman, Commentary Magazine, about the unhinged left at 8:38.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
A flood warning is up on the Des Plaines River this morning. The overnight rain changed flooding from moderate to moderately severe for the Gurnee area in Lake County after more than 3 inches of rain. And the severe weather struck much of Chicagoland last evening and overnight, causing flooding and other problems, including tornado cleanup in southwest suburban Manhattan. The House is expected to vote later today on what's being called a compromise immigration bill. Measure crafted by Republicans would keep families of illegal immigrants from being separated at the border. Senate Democrat leader Chuck Schumer weighing in this morning on the Supreme Court ruling that found President Trump's temporary travel ban illegal. Schumer says the ruling was just plain wrong.
This ruling did not make us any safer.
Justices affirming the travel ban on several mostly Muslim nations. A meeting between President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin could take place in Finland next month. The White House is scheduling 3 days next month for a possible summit in Helsinki between the two leaders. The president will visit Brussels and the UK in mid-July and would meet Putin at the end of that trip. The owner of a restaurant that asked White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders to leave, being forced to resign as the leader of a local major business group. Stephanie Wilkinson, owner of that Red Hen restaurant, was forced to resign as executive director of Main Street Lexington. Closing arguments expected later today in the wrongful death lawsuit brought by the family of Quintonio LeGrier. Mayor Emanuel names Chicago City Councilman Matt O'Shea to lead the City Council Aviation Committee. And federal prosecutors in Peoria say 15 members of one of that city's street gangs are looking at a wave of charges after a sweeping indictment against one of the most violent gangs in the state, Peoria's Bomb Squad. Cubs over the Dodgers 9-4. White Sox double up the Twins 8-4. The news, a service of Compassion International. Sponsoring a child with compassion, the most effective way to end extreme child poverty. Release a child from poverty when you become a Compassion sponsor. Choose your child now at compassion.com/radio and do your part to release a child from poverty today. 8:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher.
The Mike Gallagher Show. This is the headline at CNN.com. Donald Trump is as popular as he's ever been, parentheses, in one poll. That's the CNN News headline. I've never seen a more biased headline. You know what that one poll is they're referring to? Oh, I don't know, a little organization called Gallup. Oh, my gosh. We are in Crazyville.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Get your truly free credit score and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma. Download the Credit Karma app today. Credit Karma. Get knowing.
Hey, nothing says summer like the smell of a grill, a delicious handcrafted burger, and a cold beer or cocktail. The Country House has been providing just that for over 40 years. Their 3 great locations in Lisle, Clarendon Hills, and Geneva offers great hospitality in a casual neighborhood setting. Try their award-winning Country Burger, half pound of fresh chuck, grilled to perfection and served on dark rye. Country House has several other choices for burgers like bison, elk, turkey, and veggie, and their top drawer burger blends short rib chuck and brisket for an unmatched taste. Take your time looking over the daily specials while you enjoy the spacious deck in Geneva or hang out on the patio in Lisle. And don't forget to join the House Rewards program at Country House and earn points while you dine. All new signups will be entered into a drawing for tickets to see the Northsiders versus the Southsiders. Country House. Visit burgerone.com. That's burgerone.com.
8:35. Let's get an update on the roads this morning. The Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. And about Kennedy, jammed now from Montrose to Washington. It's an hour and 5 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 55 minutes from Montrose, 48 in the Express. Outbound, 21 minutes to Montrose, 47 to the airport. Eden's good inbound, 19 minutes Lake Cook Junction. Outbound, 30 on Eisenhower. An hour, 390 to downtown, 35 minutes from Manheim. Outbound, 390. Stevenson, 54 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 37. Ryan, 35 minutes, 95th to downtown, 557, Bishop Ford to Clyde. Lakeshore Drive, slow southbound Irving Park to North Avenue and northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. Southbound Tri-State delays, 132 to 176, the Adams Tollway to the Bensonville Bridge. Northbound 95th to 31st and Cermak to Balmoral, but Adams Tollway sluggish lead to the Tri-State. Reagan Tollway okay. Veterans Memorial stop and go southbound from the Army Trail toll to Roosevelt, northbound Boughton, most of the way to St. Charles. The Army Trail toll to 290, southbound 53, slow Dundee at Kirchhoff. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Humid day ahead, clouds and sunshine, a high of 81. Patchy clouds and humid low 68 overnight. 70 at O'Hare, 69 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Financial Planning with Jack Taboda, your 401k specialist, whose goal is to protect, preserve, and grow your wealth. Saturday mornings at 7.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, just recalling that Hammer story we were talking about. You know what the best MC Hammer song was? I mean, everybody
Hammer
remembers.
Time.
Who can't touch this, right? No, Hammer Time. No. It was before he was just Hammer, back when he was MC Hammer.
Okay.
Remember, he went from MC Hammer to just Hammer.
Hammer. Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Did you ever see the video for Turn This Mother Out?
No.
That's his best work. Best song and best dance work.
Oh.
I'm a bit of a Hammer/MC Hammer historian. This was the golden age of hip hop right here.
I don't think I've ever heard this song in my life.
This is yeah. That's because you weren't.
I was too self-absorbed.
You were on the
in high
scene like
school.
me.
I was in show choir.
I would breakdance to this song.
Would you really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Come on, give us a
I
move.
try and mimic his moves. MC Hammer, real name.
Quentin.
His real name's Lou Alcindor. No, it's Stanley Burrell.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, tomorrow, can you bring some cardboard and your parachute pants and get this going on? Let's
All
get
right.
this party started.
All right, I'll turn this mother out.
You know what? Let's turn this mother out, and then we'll put it on the YouTube.
God, you're so white. Let's turn this mother out.
Let us turn this mother out. And
so
then
proper.
It is proper.
All right.
But then you can bring you could do your dance, and then if we put that on YouTube, I mean,
This
we'd
could be
blow
my
it
big
up.
break.
We would blow up YouTube.
All right, we're losing our minds because of what has happened. The nation losing its minds over the last several days and several years and several election cycles. And yesterday, some interesting results. Not surprising, Mitt Romney's pending ascension to the Senate. But very surprising in New York, where the Democrat old guard just got a wake-up call about how kind of how they have lost their legitimacy with where the real energy is in their party, which is with the Democrat socialists like, I don't know.
Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez?
Yeah, like
Yeah,
her.
28 years old, still is paying off her student loans. She didn't even know she was going to win.
It's surreal. I did not see these numbers until I walked in right now. I saw these numbers on television with you, so I'm still processing a lot of this.
All
She
right.
was shocked. And her first order of business, she wants to eliminate ICE.
Working class Americans want a clear champion, and there is nothing radical about moral clarity in 2018.
Moral clarity.
Democrat Socialists of America knocks out Joe Crowley, who's been there for 2 decades and was seen by some as sort of the speaker in waiting to replace Nancy Pelosi, were Democrats to retake the House. For more on this topic and, of course, all the red hen fallout, we're pleased to be joined again by Noah Rothman, who's the associate editor for Commentary Magazine. Noah, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So, how do you read that huge upset in New York, knocking off Joe Crowley?
Well, I think it's worthwhile not making too much out of this, not unduly inflating. The Democrats have done a really good job of protecting their incumbents this year from insurgents, from a Tea Party-like wave. So we got to give them credit for that. At the same time, it's impossible not to make too much out of the fact that this woman, as you said, 28 years old, no political experience except for interning for Senator Edward Kennedy at some point, spent like a little over $100,000 on her race, defeated the head of the Queen's Democratic Party, who spent 7 figures, who was quick in line for leadership. It's a real shot across the bow. It is very Eric Cantor-like, although Eric Cantor is a very different situation. That was the Tea Party eating its own, not the inception of the Tea Party. But it has that sort of feel and that sort of momentum. And again, as you said, member of the Democratic Socialists, very much somebody with, in my view, a very limited understanding of how government is funded and how government works, very aspirational, an effective speaker, but nevertheless a novice at government. So this is one of those moments where you start to get a little bit nervous about what life in Washington is going to be like when the pendulum swings away from Republicans, as it inevitably will.
Yeah, and she was, the New York Times didn't even mention her because they didn't think that she was going to be a threat to Joe Crowley.
Well, it was a surprising race. I've seen New York Times reporters dispute that very, very vociferously on Twitter. I haven't done the research to say one way or the other, but nevertheless, the point stands. It's true that everybody was watching the race, the primary race in Staten Island, where Michael Grimm, a convicted felon, was seeking to get back into the Congress and sort of combating the president who had endorsed his opponent, and everybody was looking for an Alabama-like situation where the president endorsed Luther Strange, and Roy Moore won anyway. Turns out that wasn't the case. That wasn't the race to watch. The race to watch was in Queens, and nobody saw it. I do, however, want to say that everybody's lavishing praise upon Miss I don't know.
Ocasio-Cortez.
Yeah.
Ocasio-Cortez. Thank you. But I just watched her interview on
CNN
on Morning Joe, and I got to say, I didn't find it especially impressive. She's being lauded as this real new fresh thinker, but I got to pull up some transcripts here because I really want to read you exactly what she said. She was asked about her agenda, which is, abolish ICE, again, free schooling after high school, essentially universal Medicare, forgive all loans. And she was asked by Willie Geist, what does that mean? How are you going to pay for that? Tax cuts, roll back tax cuts, increase taxes. And her response was the following, quote, not only that, but also to understand that the federal government does have the ability in a similar way that we had in the New Deal to spearhead this agenda and some of that financing as well.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, right.
Nothing was said there. You didn't say anything. You had no answer. You don't understand what that means. And people who say, well, Congress just doesn't know. Yeah, they're all a bunch of bloviators. They don't know what they're talking about. That's not fair. A lot of the people in Congress get into Congress because they're wonky, because they understand financing and federal affairs and how you actually support an agenda with an actual governing plan. This is amateur hour, and that should freak people out.
Well, but the left's entire identity right now, where all the energy is in defining themselves in the negative. We're not Trump. And then you have to compete to see who is most opposed to Trump, who is most vociferous in advocating for the resistance. And so that's what this competition has become, as we've seen this week with Maxine Waters' pronouncements as well.
Yeah, there's sort of this trend towards extremism in opposition to Donald Trump, and there was a strain of that in the right, in the Tea Party era, where accommodationists, acting as though you were opposition, which isn't reflexive. It is sometimes compromising. It is designed to achieve your position that positions your members better for the next election. It is not the resistance, which believes your opposition to be illegitimate and fancies yourself some sort of a partisan sabotaging rail lines behind enemy lines. That is a weird conception of how politics works. It's self-flattering. It's a fantasy. Democrats have bought into it. Again, Republicans sort of bought into it in the Tea Party era, when they believed that any Republican compromise with Democrats or Obama was capitulatory. And it makes for worse politics. It makes for uncivil politics.
What's up?
Because you believe your opposition to be illegitimate, bad faith, and even countenancing their legitimacy is seen as some sort of a sop, as a lack of spine. And that's dangerous.
Let's move over to Utah. No surprise there that Mitt Romney won the primary there for the Senate seat. What's it going to be like when he comes to Washington? I mean, here's a man who's tried,
You know,
a few times to get into the White House, and is he going to fit in D.C.?
Like a glove.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think?
Is he going to fit in D.C.?
Well, I mean, is he going to push back against President
That guy
Trump?
was made to be inside the Beltway. Are you kidding me? He's from 3 states.
Right. He's from Massachusetts. He
Come
plays well
on.
in Massachusetts. He's going to play well in Utah. And play
Yeah,
well in D.C.
He's a bit of a chameleon.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. I think he can probably shapeshift his way into an effective role in Washington. And he knows when to oppose the president, when it's effective for Utah, and when not to. And so I think he'll probably play in Washington pretty well. I mean, the anti-Trump side of the Republican Party, the rump that is girding its loins for the inevitable day when Mitt Romney goes to the mattresses to defend Donald Trump in a controversy that he probably deserves to be criticized for. They're already waiting for him to break their hearts in that way, and I think they're probably right. That's inevitable because he's a team player, like you said. He's a party politician.
Nice shapeshifter reference.
Wow.
I mean,
We forgot he's from Michigan too.
Well, we are in the era of the forthcoming Trump Space Force. So a shapeshifter
right.
reference, kind of turning this into the Art Bell show, the intersection between the supernatural and politics. Let me ask you this. The RNC's out with an ad that's sort of a minute compendium of some of the more ignorant and incendiary comments made by everyone from Madonna to Johnny Depp to Maxine Waters over the last year and a half. Is the great hope for Republican maintenance of the House in particular just Democrat overreach, that just presenting what the left is saying, sort of the leading lights of the left, or the leading faces, at least on TV, of the left, are just so far overreaching that there's going to be a reaction to that preserves Republican majorities?
Yeah, so I'm of two minds on this. I believe generally that Democrats are in a bad spot when they energize Republican voters. Republican voters over the last 18 months have been depressed. They've not been showing up at the polls generally. So we've seen Democrats do pretty well because Republicans aren't there to oppose them. Anytime you energize Republicans, there's a reason to vote is bad for Democrats. And insofar as they are doing that by adopting extremism, adopting these tactics that are borderline abusive towards Republicans and members of public servants, people in government. Yeah, I think that's bad for Democrats. At the same time, this ad, which I think is probably very effective, targets people who really aren't on the ballot. I mean, there's Bernie Sanders is in there, yeah, there's a couple of members of Congress, but it's generally about celebrities and media personalities, and this perception on the part of the right that they are persecuted by media, Hollywood, institutions that have nothing to do with government. And it's a negative ad, and it's probably effective in a way, but it's not an ad you would see from a party that is seeking re-election, that is seeking the reaffirmation of its incumbency status. They're not running on an agenda. It's not a record.
Yeah, but
they're not saying that this is what we achieved and you have to go to the polls to defend it. They're saying these people hate you.
Right. Well, it has that emotive quality, which is intended to sort of motivate the base, right? That the culture war is still on, and they're coming at us hard, and so you got to man up and get back out there.
Yeah, and again, that might be effective. Negative ads work, and this is a web ad. I don't know the extent to which this is a buy, whether they have whether it's reserved ad time behind this. Who knows? This could just be a play for earned media, and in which case we're doing their job for them. But in that sense, I do think it's an effective strategy. I do think Democrats err when they energize Republicans. I wonder the extent to which it's going to last, because negative feelings are fleeting. They're powerful in a moment, but they don't really have a lot of staying power. And what really matters when you're an incumbent is Morning in America is saying, this is what we've achieved, this is what we've done, this is what you like, and if you want to keep seeing more of this, you go to the polls to defend it. That generally is the way in which incumbents preserve their status.
He is Noah Rothman, associate editor for Commentary Magazine. Noah, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
As a parent, you want what's best for your children. That means sending them to a school where they'll get the superior education they deserve, and that also shares your values. That can be tricky these days, as public schools have changed and private schools can be expensive. Your household budget has already been cut to the bone, and it's hard to imagine where you'll find that extra money. Well, there's help to lessen that financial burden and provide your child with the very best education at half the cost. At AM 560 The Answer, we work with private schools throughout the Chicagoland area to provide tuition for families at half the normal cost. Just log on to halfpriceschools.com and you'll find some of Chicagoland's finest private schools, from preschool all the way through high school, at half the cost. And chances are there's a school right in your neighborhood. Invest in your child's education and future at halfpriceschools.com. A limited number of half-price vouchers are available. Go to halfpriceschools.com now.
Upstream-ideas.com, premium content that complements what we do each morning on this show. Long-form interviews in our Against the Current series, this week featuring Zach Wood, who was on the show earlier in the hour, and have an extended conversation with him. He's the author of a new book, Uncensored, about his time fighting for free speech on the college campuses from the left. So it's a pretty interesting conversation. Some agreement, some disagreement. Heart of the Matter, that's our series featuring professional women speaking collegially about the important issues of the day. This latest episode, they tackle gun control and self-protection. Follow the Logic Man on the Street interviews, 2-minute warnings from Pat Hughes at the Illinois Opportunity Project, my 60 seconds of sanity commentaries. And then don't forget our sister site, defendhomeowners.com. Get a free property tax report on your home and updated home sales information in your neighborhood, in your community, and also we'll have property tax updates for your neighborhood and community coming out after the 4th of July. So all the property tax and home sales info, defendhomeowners.com. Everything else, upstream-ideas.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule. Thousands of doctors, health specialists, and professionals recommend Balance of Nature as a way of improving their health. Listen to a few unsolicited success stories from doctors that not only recommend it, but use Balance of Nature as well.
In my practice, I was getting to the point where I couldn't have the strength to see that many patients anymore. I was diagnosed with sarcoidosis. It really affected my breathing and the strength that I had. And I was introduced to the fruits and veggies. Just slowly, my strength started to come back. And it was because of the good nutrition. I can't say enough good for Balance of Nature and what it's done for me. I recommend it to everybody.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Looking to secure financing on a new home? Then you need to call Team Hochberg. Mitch contacted the nation's largest online lender, obsessed with their rocket for a VA mortgage, but was overwhelmed by their ridiculously high closing costs. So he called Team Hochberg, which he should have done in the first place. Team Hochberg secured Mitch a lower rate with substantially lower closing costs. When securing a VA loan, you can contact the largest online lender who finances the millions of dollars promoting their rocket through higher rates and closing costs. Or you can call a trusted local lender, Team Hochberg, at 312-751-1333, who values the sacrifices you made for our country and has substantially lower closing costs and interest rates, because guess what? We don't have a rocket. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee 4358 and MLS 19186.
What I suffer from is anxiety, along with depression. But I feel the anxiety triggers depression more times than not. My first experience with HPR was my initial interview. It was welcoming. It felt very good. I saw results pretty much immediately. Even after my first treatment, I felt different than when I came in. I think HPR could work for pretty much anyone. I think that what HPR has done for me was awaken a part of my brain that either stopped working or never worked. I think everybody can benefit from HPR. I'm Alex, and HPR Treatments has helped save my life.
HPR centers in Chicagoland and Milwaukee offer TMS therapy. In just a few weeks, you can change your life, and it's FDA cleared. It's covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross, Blue Shield, and Medicare. Cure or remission. Get a free consultation. 800-604-0208. 800-604-0208. HPR Centers. Go to endmydepression.com.
Are you happy with what's looking back at you in the mirror? I'm Dr. Howard Cooper from Excellence in Dentistry, and we'd like to help you with that smile. Whether you're looking to fix 1 or 2 teeth or a whole smile makeover, we can take care of all your dental needs. We have a beautiful modern facility and a great staff. And most importantly, we love what we do. That's what sets us apart from other offices. Let's face it, a dental office is not everyone's favorite place. Whether you're 2 or 102, we make it fun and enjoyable. We perform all types of dentistry as well. Fillings, root canals, crowns, extractions, dentures, implants. We do most everything right in our office. And for you denture wearers, we have a full in-house denture lab and can perform repairs and relines while you wait. We can also talk about adding implants so your denture will snap into place or become screw retained. This is the closest option to natural teeth. We are conveniently located in Gurnee at the corner of Washington and 21 in Saratoga Square. So make today the day you give us a call. 847-244-4000. That's 847-244-4000. Or visit us on the web at gurneedds.com. We look forward to seeing you, and remember, second opinions are always free. Excellence in dentistry, creating excellence one smile at a time.
Folks, when shopping for a home mortgage, how much is great service, low closing costs, and competitive interest rates worth to you? At Townstone Financial, it's priceless. Hi, Barry Sterner, founder of Townstone Financial. Let's hear about the Townstone experience from one of our customers.
My experience with Zach in Townstone was unbelievable. It was stress-free. That's like unheard of when purchasing a home. He informed me in the very beginning what I should expect, how long the process would ultimately be. He kind of held my hand the whole way. It was seamless. It was effortless. I never felt as though I was going into the next phase of the process blindly. Use Townstone. Ask for Zach Short.
Remember, nobody values your home mortgage business more than Townstone. I guarantee it, and I own the company. So call me now, Barry Sterner, at 312-896-2110. That's 312-896-2110. Or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financials, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, Illinois, mortgage licensee 6629 and NMLS 136639, equal housing lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
I have the best name for you. You know, you're the name assassinator.
Yeah. Oh boy, are you going to give this? Is this a... You didn't tell me there was going to be a quiz.
Chinese NBA prospect. Read that name.
Oh my gosh. Abdus Salamu Aburikatikan.
Okay. All right. Yeah, let's
just call him Abu.
Let's give you a little timeout. His name is Abudashulamu Abudurexiti.
And you messed that up.
No, it is. That's right.
Oh, you do.
His first name, Abudushalamu.
Abadushalamu.
It's like electric company. His last name, Abudurexiti.
Abudurexiti.
You can't even repeat what I'm saying.
I can
Electric
repeat.
company.
Yes. By the way, Sweden plays Mexico in 30 seconds.
To decide which is the most powerful country on the planet.
No, it is. And if you ever watch, well, we don't have time now, but darn it.
Halfback passes to the center. Back to the wing. Back to the center.
That's the English version.
Center holds it.
That is how Sweden plays.
Holds it.
Oh.
Not
Holds
Mexico.
it.
Yes, it's going to be great.
That's all the versions.
Here, it's 9 a.m. now. Time for Fox News.